Eileen covers her mouth. She lowers her voice. Have you heard? The Medina daughter returned to her family after the divorce. Nori scoffs. Her child is still so young. How truly unfortunate. Growing up without a father. How does she expect to raise him? This is why naive young ladies. Sophia walks through the corridor, holding Adam's hand. Her expression is cold and stern. She fixes them with an icy stare. Nori turns around in shock. Is there something you need? Sophia places a hand over her heart. You must be quite the noble lady, to be so concerned about even my son. But there is no need to trouble yourself. Adam opens his arms. He lunges forward. Sophia leans down and scoops him up. Because I am this child's mother. A few months ago, a grand mansion stands tall. That was the moment I realized everything. Sophia raises her hand. Her fingertips touch the mirror. I have reincarnated into the world of my favorite fantasy novel. I've become the Duchess from Execution Serenade. She's the so-called Villainess. She uses her son's power to start a rebellion, and is ultimately executed by the hero who wields the Saintess power. Sophia digs her nails into her hair. Her eyes are filled with terror. Does this mean I'm going to be executed too? A maid stands by the bedside. She bows respectfully. Good morning, Lady Sophia. Sophia sits on the edge of the bed. Beyond just being reincarnated, I've suddenly become a mother.
His name is Adam.
Adam clutches his collar. His cheeks are flushed. His eyes are bright. Mother. Sophia clutches her chest. She swoons backward. How can Sophia's son be this adorable? She suddenly pulls Adam into her arms. She holds him in a tight embrace. The maid looks confused. Lady Sophia? Lady Catherine is calling. The door is thrown open. Catherine stands in the doorway. Fury is written all over her face. Sophia, just how long do you plan on sleeping? Adam huddles in his mother's arms. His body trembles slightly. This uninvited, rude woman is my husband's mother, which makes her my mother-in-law. Sophia married into the Grand Court family 5 years ago. They were a prestigious and powerful household. She was once madly in love with the heir, Tristan. Dressed in a white wedding gown, she exchanged vows with him before the sacred altar. His cheeks were flushed, and his eyes were full of happiness. Tristan leans down to kiss his bride. But that happiness did not last long. Sophia cradles the infant Adam. Her eyes grow hollow. Tristan turns his back on him and walks toward the door. He doesn't pause for even a second. After the wedding, my husband's attitude changed completely. And my harsh mother-in-law followed suit. Sophia knelt on the ground. Her back was a picture of helplessness. Catherine bit her nails. Her eyes were full of disgust. Her love for her husband had turned into an obsession. Sophia had killed her own heart. She had succumbed to her mother-in-law's control. That was how she became a true villainess. If things continue like this, even Adam will. I don't want that. Tristan raised his fork. He ate expressionlessly. Catherine elegantly cut her food. Indifference was etched into her brow. The clatter of silverware echoed in the silence. Sophia sat at the dining table. Adam reached for his water glass. His fingers slipped. The glass shattered on the floor. Shards flew everywhere. Catherine set down her utensils. Her gaze was full of loathing. How many things do you need to break before you're satisfied? Adam is already 3 years old. He can't even eat properly. He let out a long sigh. Exhaustion showed on his face. You've been far too negligent in raising the child. Sophia turned her. She pulled the trembling Adam into her arms. Tristan wore a mocking smirk. You should watch the child more closely. Is there something wrong with Adam? Someone like this doesn't deserve to be the heir. Sophia lowered her eyes. Her pupils quivered slightly. If this were the old Sophia, she would have remained silent. But that ends today. Sophia slammed her hand on the table. With all due respect, Mother, your son is 28 years old.
He seems to have quite a few problems of his own.
Catherine's expression stiffened. Tristan stopped his glass mitter. His eyes were wide with shock. Sophia rested her chin on her hand. A mocking smile played on her lips. Oh, did you really think I didn't know? Catherine grit her teeth. Her eyes were dark and cold. What nonsense are you talking about? Sophia spread her hands. You know exactly what I mean, Mother. Your son neglects his duties as Duke, squanders money recklessly, and spends all day drowning in alcohol. Tristan sat with 2 women in his arms. He laughed loudly through the smell of booze. He held his glass high. Sophia glared at Tristan. A cold light flashed in her eyes. And most importantly, he is having an affair with a lowborn woman. The maid gasped, covering her mouth in horror. Tristan bolted upright. His chair screeched harshly against the floor. Cold sweat ran down his face. Calm down, don't lose your temper. Sophia lowered her gaze. A man who uses his status to toy with women. I despise that kind of person most. Tristan's face flushed deep red. His hands shook. A muffled sound came from his throat. Sophia put her arm around Adam's shoulders. A child grows up watching their parents' example. Besides, what have you ever done for this child? Have you fulfilled even a shred of your duty as a father? Catherine slammed her hand on the table. Are you prepared to face the consequences? Sophia's lips, of course, she reached her hand back. The butler handed her a stack of papers. Sophia's fingertips brushed over the sheets. Divorce papers. From this day forward, I am divorcing you. Tristan stood there dazed. Sophia, are you serious? Sophia took Adam's hand. She walked straight toward the main door. Her skirt swept through the air. Catherine shrieked from behind. Wait, what do you plan to do with Adam? That child is the heir to the Grandcourt family. Sophia's gaze was stone cold. If that's the case, you should have shown him some love while you had the chance. Catherine rushed forward. Where do you think you're going? Sophia pushed open the heavy doors. Isn't it obvious? I'm going back to my family. Catherine and Tristan froze in place. Their pupils shook with shock. The carriage raced down the tree-lined path. Wheels ground over the gravel. Sophia leaned back against the velvet seat. Adam curled up by her side. If we stayed with those people any longer, anyone would rot. Leaving the Grandcourt family was no problem. Because Sophia's family was the Medinas. The family possessed staggering wealth. I must use every advantage I have. The carriage stopped before the grand iron gates. Sophia led Adam out of the carriage. Her leather shoes clicked on the stone path. They made a sharp, clear sound. Sophia looked at the warm glow from the windows. A banquet seemed to be underway. Melodic music drifted out. The butler bowed low. Shall we enter through the back door? Sophia turned her head. Why? This is the perfect chance to say hello to everyone. The doors were flung open. Sophia opened her arms. She stepped into the dazzling light. The guests all turned to look. Glasses were held frozen at their lips. Whispers rippled through the hall. Isn't that Lady Sophia? Sophia took a deep breath. She held her head high. Father can't possibly ignore me in front of all these guests. She squeezed Adam's hand. With a radiant smile. I'm back. Sophia stood in the center of the ballroom holding Adam's hand. Her eyes locked onto the tall figure ahead.
This man.
Olivier Medina. Sophia's father? As the head of the Medina family, he used his wealth to become a duke.
He was the absolute ruler of this territory.
Olivier looked down at his daughter. His eyes were cold as ice. Sophia, what are you doing here? Before I was reincarnated into this world, I was a sales rep for a food company. I spent my days running between clients. No matter how unreasonable their demands were, I would always accept them with a smile. Sarah Liu sat alone. Overwork had left her exhausted. Her junior always dumped work on her. Her boss turned a blind eye. He even scolded her for being too subservient to clients. A manga about a villainess, it was her only escape from reality. If only I were as rich as the heroine. Student loans were suffocating her. Her poor family couldn't provide any support. She had to cling to this stable job. Sarah Liu slumped over her keyboard. She ran her fingers through her hair. If only I had more money. If I could just get away from all this. Her phone vibrated violently. Sarah Liu answered the call. Her pupils shrank in terror. Her junior had messed up. It was an important client. The company suffered heavy losses. She stood in the hallway. Her figure looked small and fragile. The boss's roar echoed through the door. She was the one taking the fall. The boss stood with his arms crossed. Do you have any idea what supervisory responsibility means? Sarah Liu stood with her head bowed. I've endured this for so long. Does it really have to go on like this? I was the only one demoted. Why me? She grit her teeth. It's not fair. But I was used to swallowing my pride. Sarah Liu stepped onto the stairs. Suddenly, her foot slipped. She lost her balance. She fell backward. If only I could live a little more freely. Falling into an endless darkness, starlight scatters before my eyes. Perhaps that is why I was reborn into this world. Olivier looked down at his daughter. You haven't shown your face in years, and now you suddenly appear. Just what on earth happened? Adam clutched Sophia's skirt tightly, his eyes full of unease. Sophia remained calm. I got a divorce. For my sake and for Adam's. A commotion broke out among the guests. Whispers began to erupt from every corner. A slight smile touched Sophia's lips as she placed a hand over her heart. And I would like us to live here, as a family once again. Olivier raised his hand. You selfish girl. How can you say that now? Sophia tilted her head, looking confused. Olivier's pupils trembled as he stared at his young grandson. Adam looked up, his cheeks flushing pink. Olivier suddenly threw his arms wide, tears welling in his eyes. Welcome back. It is so good to have you home. Sophia froze in place, her mouth slightly agape. Adam blinked his large eyes. Grandpa Olivier swept Adam up in his arms, nuzzling his cheek against the boy's. That's right, and your grandpa? Sophia watched the scene unfold. Her father, Olivier, cleared his throat, trying to hide his loss of composure. You two must be exhausted from your journey. Go and get some rest. Welcome home. Sophia stood there, her fingers lightly touching her chest, her eyes shimmering with emotion. Sophia soaked in the massive bathtub, surrounded by thick steam. I knew but this is a bit much. A maid stood by the edge of the pool and bowed slightly. Lady Sophia, the meal is ready. Sophia splashed the water and replied softly, Thank you. Exquisite desserts filled the long table. Strawberry tarts were piled high like mountains, and the roasted chicken glistened temptingly. Every dish looked like a work of art. Sophia stood dazed before the table, her eyes wide with shock. The Medina family's wealth is truly beyond imagination. She sat down at the table. Do we really have to eat this much every day? An elegant woman sat at the head of the table, sipping black tea. Good morning, Sophia. Sophia gave a small bow. Good morning, Mother. I'm sorry I couldn't greet you properly yesterday. Her mother set down her teacup. That is true. You returned so suddenly and went straight to rest. Sophia looked around. Where is Adam? Her mother smiled. He's with your father. Olivia lifted Adam up, gently swinging him in the air. Adam spread his arms wide and let out a cheerful laugh. His short golden hair shimmered in the sunlight. Sophia watched from the side. I didn't know Adam could laugh so happily. Olivier cleared his throat, hiding his smile. You must be exhausted. Make sure you eat plenty. Sophia nodded in response. Yes, she picked up her teacup. I am truly grateful to both of you. Her mother froze, her eyes widening slightly. Sophia actually said thank you. She rested her face against the back of her hand, her eyes turning red. You must have suffered so much. Sophia gave a bright smile. Yes, I suppose I did. Her mother looked relieved. It's all right. I'm just glad you're back. Your father has been saving just for a moment like this. Sophia was stunned. Her mother's gaze was tender. Parents always want to help when their children are in trouble. That is what it means to be a parent. Sophia's eyes grew misty as she clutched the ribbon on her chest. Her mother squeezed her shoulder. We were always so worried about you. After you got married, you cut off all contact with the family. Sophia lowered her gaze. I'm sorry, in the original novel, Sophia never reached out for help, not even at the very end. Her mother seemed to remember something. Oh, right, there's one more thing I should tell you. A maid hurried over and whispered in her mother's ear. Pardon the interruption, madam. Her mother gave an apologetic smile. Sorry, let's talk about this later. Sophia sat alone at the dining table, watching her mother walk away. Sunlight filled the conservatory garden, where flowers were in full bloom. Adam lay in Sophia's arms, breathing steadily as he slept. A peaceful smile played on Sophia's lips. Before I was reincarnated, I was distant from my parents. If I had married and had a child back then, would things have been different? Since I've already been reborn, I might as well relax completely. Come to think of it, what was Mother trying to say? What could it be? At that moment, I was too happy to realize that a crisis was about to hit this paradise. Swords clashed, sparks flying everywhere. Leo sidestepped a sharp strike and swept his long sword forward. Lucas gritted his teeth as he blocked, the muscles in his arms tensing. The blades screeched against each other. Leo suddenly surged with power, knocking away his opponent's guard. The sword flew from Lucas's hand, spinning under the blazing sun. Lucas threw up his hands and sighed in resignation. Give me a break. Go easy on me once in a while. Leo his expression cold.
Take it seriously.
The tournament is almost here. Lucas shouldered his sword, a smirk on his face. We all know the winner is going to be you anyway. Leo Lauren. Lucas waved a black-gloved hand. You're heading back today, aren't you? Speaking of which, the daughter of the family you're staying with. She's returned to her father's house, hasn't she? Leo stroked his white horse's mane. It has nothing to do with me. Adam opened his eyes in the greenhouse and whispered. Mother, Sophia rubbed her eyes and sat up. How long was I asleep? Don't worry about the time. It feels so good to sleep during the day. She let out a long stretch. Adam followed suit, raising his small arms. Their movements were perfectly in sync. Sophia took Adam's hand. It's getting a bit chilly. Let's head inside. The two of them walked through the long corridors. This place is like a maze. I feel like I'll get lost at any moment. Adam let go of her hand and ran toward a vase. He reached out to touch a fallen red flower. A harsh reprimand echoed in his mind. Don't you dare touch that. Adam's pupils shrank. He began to tremble violently, his breathing becoming shallow and fast. I'm sorry, he yanked his hand back, burying his head low. He curled himself into a small ball. Sophia knelt down beside him, softly calling his name. Adam is still afraid of everything involving the Grand Court family. Those memories continue to haunt him. Sophia reaches out. Her fingertips gently brush against his cheek. From now on, you can do whatever your heart desires, whenever and wherever you want. Adam looks up. Tears well up in his eyes. Is it really okay? Sophia gives a gentle smile. Yes, since we're here, why don't we explore the house together? She takes Adam's small hand in hers. They walk toward the light. They both look up at the towering bookshelves. This is the library. She flips through a heavy, ancient book. Her fingers slide over the yellowed pages. Adam leans in closer. He stares curiously at the complex script. A maid brings in tea and refreshments. Sophia pushes open the next door. A massive stone sculpture stands in the gallery. Adam stops in front of the statue. He gazes up at the stone wings. Sophia changes into a magnificent blue gown. Wearing a shimmering tiara, she twirls gracefully in the dressing room. Her skirt flutters out like waves. The maids gather around. They gasp in admiration. Sophia marvels at how they truly have everything here. But there isn't anything suitable for a child to play with, is there? Adam leans on the windowsill, resting his chin on the back of his hand. There's a look of loneliness in his eyes. Sophia claps her hands suddenly. I've got it. The Duke is sitting at his desk, with his chin resting on his hand. His brow is furrowed. Even if Sophia has accepted the child, can she really raise Adam properly? He remembers how Sophia would always willfully push her books away. She used to scream about how much she hated studying. She even snatched toys away from a young Clarice, leaving the girl in floods of tears. The Duke leans over his desk. He lets out a heavy sigh. The door is pushed open softly. Sophia pokes her head in. A bright smile is plastered on her face. Father, there's something I'd like to ask of you. The Duke looks up. His eyes are filled with confusion. At the manor gates, there's a long line of carriages. Porters carry heavy wooden crates. They're bustling back and forth through the courtyard. Sophia stands with her hands on her hips. Standing amidst a mountain of items, she looks proud of herself. Behind her follows the butler, drenched in sweat. Adam holds the Duke's hand. He looks up and asks where his mother is. The Duke looks down at his grandson. She is receiving guests. Shall we play for a while in the meantime? Sophia waves the blueprints in her hand. She points at the porters. Hurry up. Move all of this inside. Adam tilts his head. His eyes are full of bewilderment. Sophia holds a giant stuffed rabbit. She directs the servants to set up a slide. She opens her arms wide. She looks excited. All right, it's finally finished. The Duke and Duchess take Adam's hand. Come on, Adam. Let's go. Adam holds his breath and pushes open the heavy door. Sophia stands before a toy castle. She is beaming. Adam, all of this was prepared for you. Adam twiddles his thumbs. His voice is barely a whisper. Really, can I really have all of this? Sophia's eyes are tender. Of course, Adam reaches out his small hand and firmly grasps a wooden sword.
He raises it high over his head.
He clutches the wooden sword tightly. His eyes are shining. Thank you, Mother. Sophia watches him. Her face is full of warmth. From now on, a child should act like a child. It's almost time for snacks. I wonder what delicious treats they've prepared today. Adam cradles the wooden sword. Taking small, quick steps, he follows behind Sophia. They walk through the corridor bathed in the evening glow. He suddenly quickens his pace. He runs off toward the depths of the garden alone. Startled, the maid calls out after him. Adam runs through the lush flowers. He stops in the shade of a tree. He stares straight ahead. A cold voice rings out. Who's there? Adam's mouth hangs open in terror. The wooden sword slips from his hand. It clatters onto the stone floor. Leo is shirtless. He holds a long sword firmly in his hand. Sophia rushes forward. She pulls Adam into her arms with a jerk. Leo is expressionless. His gaze is freezing. This is no place for a child. Sophia starts to. Fury flares in her eyes. She glares at the man before her. How dare he yell? At a child, just who is this guy? Sophia holds Adam tightly. Her gaze is sharp as a blade. How could you point a sword at a child? Who are you?
Leo remains silent.
His expression is stern. The butler comes running from the distance. Lord Lauren. Sophia's pupils tremble slightly. Lord Lauren? Leo returns the wooden sword to Adam. Adam takes it with trembling hands. Sophia recalls, could it really be him? According to the records from the novel, he is the hero, the commander of the Holy Knights. Leo Lauren, heir to a ducal family, the strongest swordsman in the north. In order to restore order, he personally imprisoned the maddened Sophia. Adam was exiled as an accomplice. Sophia is puzzled. Why is a hero like him here? Isn't his territory in the north? The Duke sits on the sofa. He spreads his hands. He came to the capital on business last month. His father and I are old family friends. Leo speaks. Thanks to Lord Medina's hospitality, I'm staying here temporarily. Sophia bows her head slightly. I apologize for my previous rudeness. I wasn't aware of the situation. Leo looks at Adam. I'm sorry if I frightened you. Adam hides by Sophia's side.
He peeks his head out timidly.
He stares at the man before him. Leo's gaze is stern. But I must reiterate, this is a dangerous area where children should not linger. As a mother, shouldn't you keep a closer eye on him? The butler and the maid bow low. They look absolutely terrified. Forgive us, it was our oversight. Sophia looks up. She looks Leo straight in the eye. This is my responsibility. But I didn't expect to run into anyone in the garden. Since we'll be living under the same roof from now, I hope you can be a bit more understanding. Adam hangs his head. He grips the wooden sword with both hands. His voice trembles. I'm sorry. I'll be more careful next time. Leo looks at him. I understand. There is one more thing. No matter what happens, you must never drop your sword. On the battlefield, it's a matter of life and death. As a man, you must protect those who need you. Adam clutches the wooden sword tightly. His knuckles turn white from the strain. Yes, Leo withdraws his gaze. He turns to leave. If you'll excuse me. Sophia's brow furrows slightly. What's the meaning of this? This is a home, not a battlefield. The Duke pressed his hand to his forehead, looking awkward. I didn't expect you to return. Perhaps I should have him move out. Sophia picked up her teacup, with graceful movements. Please don't. Father, I don't mind. She took a light sip of tea, her eyes downcast. Providing lodging for public officials is the duty of the capital's nobility. Right, her mother chuckled behind her hand. You never would have agreed to this before. Since it's for official duty, he probably won't stay for very long. Next year, we'll be able to attend the May festival together. That sounds wonderful. Sophia suddenly stiffened, her pupils trembling. You mean we're going to stay together for a whole year? She leaned against the window ledge, watching Leo's silhouette below. So this is what he looked like when he was young. He is indeed handsome, but completely devoid of charm. The maids were screaming and cheering in the distance, their faces flushed. Yet he remained expressionless, never even looking back. Sophia puffed out her cheeks. Hey, staying at the Medina, yet he still wants to punish the family's daughter. What a rigid fellow. Although Sophia did bring that on herself. She looked away and stretched. Oh well, none of that matters now. I just want to enjoy the present. Staying home all the time is so boring. A maid stepped forward, looking excited. Would you like to go for a stroll in the city? Sophia took the maid's hands, her eyes shining. That sounds nice. I'd like a change of mood. And I want Adam to see more of the world. Sunlight spilled over the streets, and colorful flags fluttered in the wind. The mother and son stepped out. Sophia held Adam's hand as they wove through the bustling market. Is there anything you want? Just tell me. Adam stopped in front of a window display, staring at the rows of toys. I already have plenty of toy soldiers. Sophia's gaze was soft. As long as it's something you like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't this room look cool? A red-haired woman turned around, looking stunned. Sophia turned around. What? The red-haired woman grabbed Sophia's wrist, her grip too tight. Is it really Sophia? Sophia froze, her eyes trembling. Yes, the red-haired woman suddenly lunged forward and hugged Sophia tightly. Her strength was startling. She buried her face in Sophia's shoulder, tears streaming down. I was so worried about you. Sophia looked up. Wait a second. Who exactly are you? The red-haired woman's face was tear-stained, her eyes full of hurt. It's been so long, but do you really not recognize me? It's me, Mariana. Your best friend? Sophia stood, her pupils quivering. The maid opened a parasol and whispered a reminder. My lady, why don't we find a place to sit and talk? Mariana wiped away her tears and nodded. Yes, let's do that. Sophia and Adam stood side by side, looking stunned. They fell into silence. Adam held his juice, tilting his head toward Mariana. Are you my mother's friend? Mariana gave a brilliant smile. That's right, it's nice to meet you. Sophia picked up her teacup and stroked its rim. Mariana, the eccentric woman who stayed by Sophia's side, no matter how she was treated. After the Civil War ended, She had tried to help Sophia, but because she acted on her own, she completely enraged that madwoman. Sophia stared at her reflection in the tea. That was a character I killed with my own hands. Mariana sat by the window, her profile bathed in light. Seeing that you're doing well puts my mind at ease. We haven't seen each other since your wedding. Right, Sophia sat straight at the table. Has it really been that long? Mariana folded her hands, her fingers twisting together. Yes, I could never see you, and my letters were never answered. I thought I'd never see you again. Sophia watched her. What is going on? So Sophia was loved this deeply by someone. She spoke up. I'm sorry. A lot has happened, but I'm back now. Mariana broke into a smile through her tears. That's wonderful. So everything is fine now. Right, you'll keep your promise. Want you? Sophia sat at the table, running her fingers over the stationery. About what I discussed with Mariana that day. She invited me to a gathering of friends. She wanted me to go with her, and told me to dress up. Sophia rested her chin on her hand, her gaze vacant. Is this the so-called promise? Back at the Grand Court estate, the family didn't allow me out to go to parties. I could only watch others talking under the lights. Sophia stepped into the courtyard, opening her lace parasol. Her layered skirts flared out. It's been a long time since I appeared in public. Sophia looked down at Adam and asked softly, Are you ready? Adam nodded. Yes, he stepped up the stairs and held out his hand. I'm going with Mother. A smile touched Sophia's lips. That's very dependable of you. Sunlight filled the courtyard. A white gazebo stood among the flower beds. The long table was spread with tea and cakes. The guests were clustered together, their eyes meeting. Is that Sophia? When was the last time she appeared in public? Who on earth invited her? Sophia entered the venue holding Adam's hand, listening to the whispers around her. It seems I'm quite the celebrity. Mariana waved her hands and ran toward them. Sophia, you really came. I'm so happy. Sophia nodded slightly, her gaze soft. Thank you for giving me the chance to keep my promise. Mariana. Mariana looked at her. I feel like your atmosphere has changed. Sophia said, It's because a lot of things happened after I got married. Mariana leaned down and took Adam's hand. I can't believe you brought Adam too. What a good boy. Adam waved his small hand with a bright smile. Hello, Sophia tilted her head, her eyes full of confusion. So, about that promise, what exactly did I do wrong? Mariana's smile faded, her eyes becoming somber. Do you really not remember at all? Sophia gave a dry laugh, avoiding her eyes. This scene was never in the novel. Mariana leaned toward the mirror. She lowered her voice. Remember that ball? You ruined Lady Annette's dress, but you blamed it on me, and then you just went home. You promised me then, as an apology, that you grant me one request. Remember, Sophia lowered her head. Her long hair veiled her face. Even if she wasn't a villainess, she really was the type to do something like that. Her gaze swept across the room. The guests were still whispering. A voice called out, You're finally here. A stranger in a purple gown fanned herself with a feathered fan. A sneer was on her lips. Mariana replied, Hello, Deborah. The brown-haired woman stepped closer. I haven't seen you at any tea parties lately, though it's not like you have any other friends anyway. Her companions behind her giggled. Their eyes were full of contempt. But you didn't come alone today, did you? Sophia walked in, leading Adam. Her expression was calm. Deborah's eyes widened. She covered her mouth. How rare to actually see someone from the Grand Court family. It should be Lady Sophia of the Medina family now. She burst into sharp laughter. She laughed so hard she could barely stand straight. Her companions joined in the mockery. Mariana leaned in towards Sophia. She lowered her voice. That's Deborah of the Montbazon family. Ever since you stopped showing up, she's become quite arrogant. Deborah stopped laughing. Her gaze was sharp. Long time no see. You look like you're doing well. Sophia's lips curled slightly. Her gaze was calm as she spoke. It has been a long time. The brown-haired woman continued. I'm surprised you have the nerve to show your face. Is it because you're single now? So you're in a hurry to find a new man? Mariana suddenly took a step forward. She was fuming with rage. How dare you be so rude? This is too much. A sneer played on Deborah's lips. Whenever Mariana is around, the atmosphere is always so lively. Where did your usual elegance go? Mariana clenched her fists. Her face turned bright red. She was speechless. Deborah glanced sideways at Adam. I heard you even brought the child back to your parents' house. Word travels fast. After all, you've always been the center of attention. Adam gripped Sophia's skirt tightly. His eyes were filled with unease. Sophia stroked Adam's head. She remained composed. You're certainly well informed. Deborah let out a cold laugh. Everyone knows. Back then, to have Tristan all to yourself, you caused such a scene. You even drove away all the other young ladies. And yet, here you are years later, leaving Tristan with a child. How pathetic. Giggles broke out around them. The guests covered their mouths and whispered. Their eyes swept over Sophia judgmentally. Sophia straightened her back. Her expression remained serene. I apologize for my behavior back then. Rest assured, it won't happen again. Since this is a special gathering, why don't we, for the sake of the future, engage in a more constructive conversation? Deborah froze in place. Broken syllables escaped her throat. Mariana took her hand. You've changed a lot. Isn't that right, now that you have a child? You've become much more settled. More like a true noble lady. Sophia turned her head. She and Mariana shared a smile. Adam stood obediently by her side. Deborah's face contorted. Her eyes were full of malice. What is this? I thought she would fly into a rage like she used to. I have to get rid of her for good. Don't act so magnanimous. If your dress got ruined, could you still keep your mouth? She snatched a wine glass from a servant's tray. The red liquid swirled in the glass. Sophia seemed to notice. She tilted her face slightly. Deborah swung her arm abruptly. Show your true colors. Adam's eyes widened.
He reached out in terror.
He let out a scream. Sophia turned her head. Her eyes were ice cold. She caught Deborah's wrist with a reverse grip. Deborah's eyes went wide. The wine glass shook violently in her fingers. Sophia pulled her in by the waist. She pivoted on her feet. She spun Deborah around in place. The guests all stared in shock. Sophia steadied herself. A mocking smile played on her lips. Oh dear, you should be more careful when you walk. She let go, allowing Deborah to stagger as she stood. This isn't the ballroom, after all. We can save this dance for next time. Deborah panted heavily. What? Sophia leaned into her ear. There was no hint of a smile in her eyes. Why don't we end it here for today? You wouldn't want to humiliate yourself further. The guests whispered among themselves. Low voices rose and fell. Deborah froze in place. Cold sweat trickled down her cheek. Her companions pulled at her arm. Let's go. Deborah pointed at Sophia and shouted. No matter how much you play the saint, it doesn't change the fact that you brought shame to Lord Tristan. Sophia stood silently. Her gaze was calm. So that's how it is. Deborah stepped forward. You're a mad woman who stole the Grand Court bloodline. One day you will pay the price. Sophia lightly brushed her ear. A mocking smile was on her lips. What grating words. Adam hugged Sophia tightly. Mother, are you okay? Sophia knelt down. She stroked his cheek gently. I am fine. Thank you for warning me of the danger. You were very observant. Adam lowered his head.
His fingers tugged at his collar.
She thought your dress was dirty. Sophia's expression shifted slightly. She looked at Adam. Did she really say that? Adam opened his arms. The way you spun around just now was so cool, Mother. It was amazing. Mariana hugged Adam from behind. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Exactly, you have to teach me. That move too. Sophia sighed helplessly. I told you, this isn't the ballroom. In the distance, Leo held up his glass.
He was watching the boisterous crowd.
Sophia felt a presence. She turned her head toward the garden. Across the way, Leo stood in the shadows of the trees. His gaze was cold and authoritative. Night fell. The Duke's estate was brightly lit. Sophia collapsed onto the bed. She was exhausted. During dinner, Adam almost fell asleep in his plate. Sophia sat at the dining table. Just a little longer, Adam. We're almost finished eating. Sophia leaned down, gazing at Adam's youthful face. Her gaze softened. Even if I tell myself it was for Adam's sake, the fact remains that I separated him from his father. I don't think I made the wrong choice. But no matter what I say, my true feelings never seem to reach him. It has always been this way. Adam slowly opens his eyes, a faint light reflecting in his pupils. He reaches out his small hand and gently strokes his mother's forehead. I understand everything Mother has done for me. He leans closer to Sophia and whispers softly, I love you, Mother. Sophia lies on her side on the bed, tears sliding down her cheeks and dripping onto the pillow. It's so warm. Adam's pure love is slowly melting away her painful past. Adam moves his face closer to hers, his eyes full of, Are you hurt, Mother? Sophia shakes her head. She covers her face, tears flowing uncontrollably. It's for a different reason. Adam reaches out both arms and hugs Sophia tightly. Sophia suddenly turns over and pulls Adam into her embrace. Thank you. This makes me so happy. You are truly so kind and gentle. Just like back then. It's as if he can see right into someone's heart. This ability, at such a young age, has it already begun to awaken? The hereditary power of the Grand Court family is flowing through his veins. A green gemstone lies inside the velvet box, reflecting a piercing light. Sophia stares at the ring, unable to believe it. Stolen goods, Duchess. She suddenly lowers her eyes, her expression turning solemn. It appears so. Adam leans in close, looking confused. What does stolen goods mean? Sophia explains patiently. It refers to things that were taken from other people or stores. Leo's gaze is cold. A jewelry store in the neighboring country was recently robbed. The knights shared the list of stolen items. And that's how we discovered this. Sophia turns her head to look at him. Then is the merchant who brought this the culprit?
Leo shakes his head.
No, he is a victim as well. He bought stolen property without knowing it. The Duchess strokes her cheek, worry lining her brow. Hay's a familiar face, so I didn't suspect a thing at the time. He hasn't stopped apologizing. Leo says, since stolen goods have started circulating in the capital, we must act quickly. Please do not mention this to anyone, to avoid causing a panic. Sophia rests her chin on her hand, lost in thought. How did you notice these items were on the list? He picks up the velvet box. Gems with this kind of color-changing effect are very rare. Furthermore, this piece is far more expensive than the others, so it stood out significantly. Sophia gives an awkward smile. That's the Medina family for you. Leo closes the lid. I will take this box into custody for now. The Duchess bows slightly. I'm sorry for the trouble. She lets out a long sigh, her eyes full of regret. I really did like that piece of jewelry. Adam reaches out his small hand and gently pats the Duchess's shoulder, trying to comfort her. Sophia rests her cheek in her hand, deep in thought. Sunlight spills over the white walls of the estate. Sophia stands with her hands on her hips. In the middle of the street, Adam puffs out his chest and stands by her side. Sophia shouts, So, Adam, what is our mission for today? Adam raises his right hand and responds loudly, We're going to buy a new brooch for Grandma. Sophia points her finger, straight ahead. That's right, let's head out. Leo suddenly appears behind them. What are you doing? Sophia let out a startled scream. She jerked her shoulders up. Don't just pop out and start talking to me. Leo rests his hand on his sword,
his gaze cold.
Have you already forgotten what I told you? Now is not the time to be wandering about. Lucas approaches leisurely, a smile playing on his lips. Now. There's no need to be so aggressive. Sophia tilts her head, looking confused. And Lucas places a hand over his heart and bows slightly in greeting. This is the first time I've formally introduced myself. Lady Sophia. My name is Lucas Gies. Sophia blinks. It's a pleasure to meet you. But I don't think I mentioned my name. Lucas points toward Leo, with a bright smile. He only ever strikes up a conversation with specific. Sophia recalls the plot of the novel. He's Leo's mischievous friend. Lucas leans in toward Sophia. So, what brings you out today? Sophia covers her mouth and chuckles. Due to certain circumstances, I want to buy some new jewelry for my mother. Leo stands to the side, his brow furrowed, as his expression grows darker. Lucas raises his hand, pointing to a stone-walled building in the distance. In that case, that stone-walled shop is famous for its high quality. I highly recommend it. Sophia turns her head, a smile on her face. You seem very knowledgeable. Thank you, Lucas blinks, looking light-hearted. If you need anything at all, just call for me, and I'll be there in an instant. Leo turns around. We will remain nearby. But please try not to draw attention to yourselves. A look of resignation crosses Sophia's face. He always has to get the last word in. Sophia walks into the elegantly decorated shop and looks at the clerk behind the counter. Could you show me some larger brooch? I'm looking for a gift for a family member. The clerk bows slightly, indicating the display case. Certainly, please follow me. 4 brooches are arranged on a tray, their gems sparkling under the lights. Sophia stares at the jewelry, lost in thought. Every single one is radiant, but none of these have the same impact as the one we have at home. The clerk says, these are the most popular styles at the moment. Do you have a specific style in mind? Sophia ponders. Maybe they'll have that kind of stone here. Even if it's a long shot, she speaks up. Do you have any more unique designs? For example, a gemstone that changes color in the light. The clerk freezes, a look of surprise in their eyes. Pardon me, it's just this feels like destiny. Their expression turns to we just happened to receive some color-changing gemstone jewelry. Sophia's eyes widen, and she leans in slightly. What? The clerk smiles broadly. Selecting a gemstone. They are quite rare, my lady. Would you like to see them? Sophia and Adam exchange a look. If they are genuine, it's fine, but there's a chance they could be stolen. She looks at the clerk. Please show them to me. Several pieces of jewelry are placed on a tray. Green gemstones sparkle brilliantly under the lights. The clerk is all smiles. It's extremely rare to see so many pieces displayed at the same time. These raw gemstones come from very limited sources. Sophia leaned down. She stared at the brooch. This piece is very similar to the one I saw earlier, but I've never seen this exact one. The list of stolen items couldn't be confirmed. He narrowed his eyes. What if this shop is in league with the thieves? Adam tugged at the corner of her dress. He softly called out, Mother. Sophia snapped out of it. She turned to look at the child beside her. Adam's eyes were clear. That clerk isn't suspicious. Sophia froze in her tracks. She looked taken aback. Adam, can you really tell? The clerk leaned down. He looked a bit uneasy. Is there nothing here that catches your eye? Sophia pushed aside her doubts. A gentle smile graced her lips. These are all quite beautiful. May I ask which merchant guild you purchased these from? The clerk pulled back a heavy curtain. Would you like to meet them? They've just returned. One man carried a heavy wooden box on his shoulder. A scar ran across his face. The other man wore a top hat. A greasy smile played on his lips. The clerk introduced them to Sophia. These are Mr. Rick and Mr. Barry from the East Ditch Merchant Guild. Sophia peeked out. Her pupils quivered with shock. These two look incredibly suspicious. Rick sat across from Sophia.
He introduced himself.
I'm Rick, from the East Ditch Merchant. He spread his black-gloved hands. He pointed to the burly companion beside him. This is Barry. We are gemstone wholesalers. Sophia maintained a polite smile. but a flicker of unease crossed her eyes. I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but these two guys, they don't look like legitimate businessmen at all. Rick's eyes crinkled into slits as he smiled. He looked oily. It is truly an honor to meet a member of the ducal family. Sophia raised her hand to cover her mouth. She let out a soft chuckle. Oh my, what wonderful luck. Rick pulled a document from his coat. He pushed it across the table. These are rare items you won't find on the open market. The East Ditch Merchant Guild insists on offering them to you. Sophia picked up the document. She looked down and examined it. Her pupils narrowed slightly. They call these rare gemstones, but the price is ridiculously low. Inside the display case, 7 brooches were neatly arranged. The gems reflected a dark, mysterious light. Each piece featured intricate craftsmanship. Rick rubbed his gloved hands together. His smile grew even more fawning. This is a fated encounter. We're offering a very special price. She thought to herself, the Medina family is top-tier nobility. This is a golden opportunity. Adam's eyes suddenly widened. A drop of cold sweat rolled down Barry's temple. Rick is overdoing it with the acting. A flash of ruthlessness crossed Rick's eyes. His lips curled into a twisted smirk. The Holy Knights have already started their move. We have to fence these stolen goods as fast as possible, then get out of here. Adam's pupils quivered with unease. Sophia pressed a fingertip to her lower lip. She was lost in thought. This shop passed inspection. The items aren't fakes, but their reason for intentionally lowering the price. She looked up. Her gaze was as sharp as a blade. They're trying to offload them quickly. Adam suddenly grabbed her arm. His body was trembling violently. He let out a short, "Don't." Sophia gripped Adam's hand. You know what I'm thinking? Don't you? She turned around. A polite smile was on her lips. I'd very much like to buy these. But may I consult with my family first? Rick and Barry's expressions turned frantic. We're leaving the royal capital tonight. If you don't decide right now, well, I'll take our goods elsewhere. The clerk cried out in surprise. This is ridiculous. Sophia's brow furrowed. Letting them escape with the goods would be the worst-case scenario. What should I do? Leo would definitely recognize items from the stolen list. I have to stall for time. She spoke up. My brother is nearby. May I call him over? Sophia turned to Adam. She whispered her instructions. Go and find Lord Leo. Adam nodded firmly. Understood, I'll be right back. Sophia closed her eyes. She gripped her skirt tightly. He's safer outside than he is facing these thieves. I can't let these scoundrels who deceived my mother get away. Rick spoke. So you have a brother? Sophia looked up. An elegant smile graced her lips. He's not exactly friendly, but he is very meticulous and has a keen eye for beautiful things. Adam ran through the streets. His footsteps were hurried. 2 holy knights blocked his path. It's dangerous for a little boy to be here alone. Adam looked up. Is Lord Leo here? A holy knight leaned down to ask. You're Lady Sophia's son, aren't you? What's happened? Leo and Lucas approached side by side. Their capes billowed in the wind. Lucas asked, What's going on? The moment Adam saw Leo, tears welled up in his eyes. He lunged forward, throwing himself into Leo's arms. Lord Leo.
He gripped Leo's uniform.
His voice was trembling. The stolen goods mother mentioned. Leo scooped up Adam. He strode forward with purpose. Is it the jewelry shop from earlier? Adam nodded vigorously. Yes, Lucas followed close behind. You two follow me. The holy knights responded in unison. Sophia leaned back against the sofa. Her gaze swept over the dazzling array of jewelry on the table. Is this all? Don't underestimate the wealth of the Medina family. Bring out everything you have. Barry and Rick were sweating profusely from the exertion. They kept pulling jewelry out of the boxes. An arrogant smile played on Sophia's lips. That one looks quite nice, too. My acting skills as a villainess finally came in handy today. Leo suddenly appeared at the door. His expression was as cold as ice. Sophia looked up. She stared at the man standing in the light. Rick turned deathly pale from fright.
His legs wouldn't stop shaking.
The Holy Knights! Thari let out a beast-like roar. Veins bulged on his temples. You dare play us, woman. He swung a massive fist. It whistled through the air toward Sophia. Sophia instinctively squeezed her eyes shut. She recoiled in fear. Leo moved in a flash.
His hand clamped down on Barry's collar. He lifted the burly Barry with a single hand.
With a burst of strength, he slammed him violently onto the floor. His longsword cleared its scabbard. The tip of the blade pressed against Barry's nose. Consider yourself lucky. If you had touched her, you would be a corpse by now. Two Holy Knights moved in quickly. They crossed their swords against Rick's neck. Rick froze in his tracks. He actually sent him flying. Adam rushed in, crying out. Mother Sophia gently stroked Adam's cheek. Thank you for calling for help. You aren't hurt, are you? Adam shook his head, sobbing. I was more worried about you, Mother. Sophia pulled Adam into a tight embrace. You must have been terrified. Going to get help all by yourself. You saved me once again. My little knight. Leo crossed his arms over his chest. He looked down at them with a stern gaze. Didn't I tell you not to draw attention to yourself? This is the second time you've let the child be on his own. Sophia turned back to him. Her eyes flashed with defiance. I only had him retreat first. That was far safer than staying near those thieves. Leo's gaze grew intense. From the way you speak, it seems you knew those two were thieves all along. Sophia looked him straight in the eye. Her voice was firm. I did. Leo remained silent for a moment. He slowly knelt down. His eyes were level with hers. I see. Sophia froze. Her pupils dilated slightly. Leo spoke. We will discuss this later. First, we need to understand exactly what happened in that shop. Please cooperate with the investigation. Sophia gave a soft response. I understand. Adam stood up. Doubt flickered in his heart. Could it be that Lord Leo knows something too? Leo sat on the sofa. He held a letter between his fingers. His eyes scanned the lines. His expression was grave. There was a knock at the door. He turned his head toward the door. Come in. Sophia pushed the door open. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders. Leo let out a sigh. Even if you have freedom within this estate, visiting a man's room late at night is still a breach of etiquette. Sophia gave a light chuckle. I wanted to tell you this before the day was over. So please forgive my intrusion. She bowed her head slightly. Thank you for helping me earlier. Leo's tone was indifferent. I only did what any holy knight would do. Sophia looked up. She placed a hand over her heart. I knew you would say that. But it's thanks to you, Lord Leo, that I escaped without a scratch. Leo spoke. Those two were indeed members of the Thieves' Guild. It has already been confirmed. He stood up. How did you know? Does this have something to do with Adam? Sophia took a deep breath. Her hands were tightly interlaced. Her expression was solemn. Adam can read minds. He possesses that power. Olivier sat on the sofa. His eyes were wide with shock. Does Adam really have such an ability? He furrowed his brow. This is difficult to believe. Adam, try to guess. What am I thinking right now? Adam broke into a bright smile. His eyes were clear and bright. He accurately captured his grandfather's thoughts. Then he threw himself into his grandfather's arms. I can read what you're thinking. Sophia watched the scene. Don't tease Adam like that. The Duchess spoke. He might look scary when Hayes silent, but Hayes actually a very gentle person. Olivier looked over the newspaper. In any case, I'm glad those thieves were caught. He bowed his head slightly. Thank you for your cooperation. It allowed the matter to be resolved quickly. Sophia waved her hand dismissively. It was no trouble at all. She whispered a reminder to Adam. It's time to give it to her. Adam nodded. His eyes were shining. He held up an exquisite jewelry box with both hands. He presented it to the Duchess. The Duchess's mouth fell open in surprise. What is this? Adam gave a radiant smile, his eyes curving like crescent moons.
This is a new brooch for you, grandmother.
I helped pick it out myself. The Duchess covered her mouth with her hands, her expression deeply moved. She took the jewelry box from him. Thank you both so much. Olivier crossed his arms. His expression was grave. Since you were involved in this, I should let you know something. Solving this case has created quite a bit of work for me. Sophia tilted her head and smiled. Isn't that a good thing? Olivier looked serious. This matter involves the royal family. It is no small matter. Sophia gasped. The royal family, the Duchess pulled Adam close. That jewelry shop appears to be a supplier for the royal family. So, in an indirect way, we have done the kingdom a great service. The Duke burst into laughter.
His face was full of pride.
I am so proud of my daughter and my grandson. Adam sat between his grandfather and grandmother. All three of them were laughing happily. Sophia watched the scene unfold. Her eyes were filled with warmth. I'm so glad. I'm glad they are taking Adam's ability so well. But if word of this gets out, people might try to exploit him. I must be even more careful. Just like the Sophia in the novel, I have to find a way to protect Adam. Leo watched her profile. His expression was stoic. You look like you have a lot on your mind. Sophia snapped out of her thoughts. Her shoulders gave a small start. I was just thinking about a few things. Leo spoke. You shouldn't try to shoulder everything alone. That is exactly why I am here. A small smile played on Sophia's lips. Thank you, you've read my mind again. Leo spoke. I can usually anticipate these things. Sophia looked at him. A ripple of emotion stirred in her heart. Could Lord Leo have mind-reading powers too? Leo lowered his gaze. He avoided her eyes. A faint smile touched his lips. His expression held a rare touch of gentleness. Who knows? What do you think? Sophia stood there, stunned. Her pupils widened in shock. She rubbed her eyes. She leaned in to get a closer look at Leo's face. Did he just smile? Perhaps things will go more smoothly than I expected. A servant came running over, looking panicked. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead. My lady, something has happened. Sophia's brow furrowed. What is it? The servant lowered his voice. His voice was hurried. A man claiming to be an envoy from the Grand Court family has just arrived at the estate. Sophia froze where she stood. Her eyes went wide. What? The servant hesitated. They are insisting on seeing Lord Adam. Their attitude is extremely aggressive. Sophia's gaze turned cold. Her pupils contracted. Adam was sitting on the grass. He was holding a paintbrush. Two maids stood by his side. It sounds so noisy outside. Do we have guests? Heavy footsteps approached. The grass was trampled underfoot. Several tall shadows loomed over him. Adam looked up. His face went deathly pale in an instant. His pupils shook violently. The crayon fell from his hand and into the grass. Tristan was standing right there. A smirk played on his lips, but his eyes were unnaturally cold. So you were here all along, Adam. He approached with open arms. It's time to go home. The headlines on the newspaper were clear. Downfall of the Thieves' Guild. Royal family commends Sophia Medina's assistance. Catherine stared at the newspaper, her eyes cold and sinister. Is that really so? Tristan picked up his teacup and took a sip of black tea, his movements elegant. Catherine gritted her teeth. She swung her arm violently, and the teacup flew from her hand. This infuriates me. Tristan's gaze remained indifferent. That spoiled brat couldn't possibly help anyone. Catherine bit her nails, her brow furrowed. No matter how you look at it, this makes no sense. How on earth did she manage that? It must be Adam. She is using the power of the Grand Court. Tristan frowned slightly. Using mind-reading to catch criminals, just to restore her own reputation in high society? What a roundabout way of doing things. He closed his eyes.
His tone dismissive.
If it were me, I would save the commoners directly and turn them into allies. Regardless, we cannot let her profit from our family's power. Adam must be brought back immediately. A smirk played on Tristan's lips. In that case, I will go fetch him personally. Adam's power should serve the interests of the Grand Court family. Tristan spread his arms wide, wearing a radiant smile. Adam, you've had enough of a break, haven't you? It's time to end this. And go home. Adam's shoulders hunched up abruptly, his pupils trembling violently. Tristan tilted his head slightly. Why don't you answer me? He took a step and walked forward. Are you so happy that you're speechless? No matter. His black leather boots stepped down heavily, crushing a blue crayon on the grass. Tristan stopped his movement and looked down at his toes, his gaze instantly turning cold. You've dirtied my shoes. Adam hung his head, his body frozen, shaking uncontrollably. A maid spread her arms and blocked away, looking panicked. Please, wait a moment. She stared at Tristan, her voice trembling but firm. I heard that young Master Adam will be staying with the Medina family from now on. There has been no mention of him returning. An attendant stepped forward. How dare a mere servant defy the Duke?
He struck the maid hard with his palm.
The maid lost her balance and fell backward onto the grass, with a dull thud. Another maid cried out, Alice. Tristan getting close to the maid's face, a sneer on his lips. Adam is the heir to the Grand Court family. It's only natural for him to return to the family he was born into. Isn't that right? The maid held on to Adam tightly. We are servants of the Medina family. Since the lady hasn't given the order, we cannot let you take him. Alice stood up and shielded Adam, her expression grim. Tristan smiled again. Adam has always been a good, obedient boy. Right, Adam's pupils constricted. Tristan leaned into his ear, a cruel grin on his face. If you don't listen, do you know what will happen to the people around you? You should know very well. Adam trembled. If I don't go back, will Mother and everyone else be in danger? Alice shouted, Please leave this place at once. Adam shut his eyes tight, tears streaming down his cheeks. The maid watched him gently. Don't worry. You are free to decide where you want to stay. Adam took a step and moved forward. I'm not going. He squeezed his eyes shut and screamed. You mean you hit her? I'm not going. Tristan's smile froze, a shadow crossing his brow. Since when did you dare to speak like that? Sophia stood in front of Adam. Well said, Adam. That's my son.
He looked up blankly at her back.
Tear stains still on his face. Tristan's lips curled up again. Oh, Sophia. Sophia looked him straight in the eye, her expression cold. Welcome, Lord Grandcourt. I'll take it from here. Sophia crossed her arms, looking indifferent. Tristan spread his hands, a fake smile on his face. It's been a long time. You seem to be doing... Sophia tilted her head slightly. I'm not here to reminisce. Get straight to the point. Tristan's smile vanished. Fine, I'm just here to pick up Adam. Sophia stared him down, her voice firm. Adam said, He doesn't want to leave me. And I have no intention of letting him go. He will be raised in the Medina household. You don't need to worry about him anymore. Tristan raised a hand to his forehead, looking weary. I thought time would soften your attitude. Sophia said, But you're still the same. At least Adam can speak for himself now. On that merit alone, rescuing him from that prison has already been worth it. Tristan lowered his head. I see. I understand. Then you're the one who has been corrupting Adam. Sophia's brow furrowed, her eyes icy. What a nasty way to put it. Tristan let out a cold laugh. He's still a child. It's only natural that he reflects his mother's selfishness. It's to be expected. Sophia looked him in the eye, her tone mocking. Selfish, how so? Tristan turned around. Hayes actually turned into a child who dares to defy his father. How disgraceful. I will never leave him in a place like this. Adam stood in the distance,
His large blue eyes filled with terror.
Tristan reached out his hand, with a hypocritical smile. This is for your own good. Adam, come home with your father. Sophia looked up, her gaze frigid. Adam said,
He doesn't want to go with you.
Tristan folded his arms and let out a cold sneer. Hayes only 3 years old. It's impossible for him to make his own decisions. This is nothing more than parental selfishness. Sophia's eyes were The point isn't about right or wrong. Adam has already made his choice. Respecting a child's wishes, is that really selfish? She reached out and gently took Adam's small hand. No matter the outcome, staying by our children's side and protecting them, isn't that the responsibility of a parent? Adam looked up. He stared blankly at Sophia. The fear in his eyes gradually faded away. Tristan clenched his fists. If anything happens, can you take responsibility? Sophia looked composed. I am already prepared. Tristan grit his teeth. His facial muscles contorted with rage. Sophia said, By the way, the divorce papers have already settled the custody issue. Don't forget what you did to the maid. If you don't want to be prosecuted, I suggest you leave immediately. Tristan turned and left abruptly. His attendants looked at each other and hurried after him. My lord, please wait for us. Tristan strode away. It seems this will take more time. Well, I'll discuss this another day. Sophia softly called out to Adam. Alice, Sierra, you guys was so cool just now. The three of them blushed slightly. Their gazes became determined. Adam lunged into Sophia's arms. Olivier rested his chin on his folded hands.
His gaze was grim.
That bastard. To think he'd make a move while I was away. He really is shameless. Should I arrange for 20 guards to protect them? Sophia waved her hands dismissively. She looked exasperated. That would be suffocating. Please, definitely don't do that. Olivier looked at Leo beside him. Since you're staying in the territory, please stay by their side at all times. I'm sorry to worry you, but having you there would truly put my mind at ease. Leo gave a slight. Sophia sat on the sofa. She held Adam in her arms. He actually had the gall to barge into the Medina estate. Who knows what they'll do next? We must stay vigilant. Adam looked up. He looked at Sophia. Is there anything I can do? I'd be happy if I could do something to cheer everyone up. I would be very happy. Sophia raised her index finger. How about writing a letter? You could thank Alice and the others for their help. Adam said, Do you think they'll be happy to receive my letter? A smile played on Sophia's lips. Of course. Your grandfather might even dance for joy. Adam covered his cheeks. His face was bright red. If I secretly write a letter to Mother, will she be surprised? Leo stood behind them at some point. He looked down at Adam. Adam suddenly turned around. His blue pupils quivered. Leo was expressionless. There was a hint of confusion in his eyes. Leo sat at the round table. He stared at Adam opposite him. Why am I here again? Adam looked up. You said you would stay by my side. Leo looked away. His brow furrowed slightly. That's not what I meant. Forget it, he leaned in. He looked at the drawing paper in Adam's hands. What are you drawing? Adam held up the paper. Flowers and birds because Mother likes them. He pushed a blank sheet of paper toward Leo. Will you join me, Lord Leo? Leo was silent for a moment. His fingers gripped the brush. Adam leaned on the edge of the table. He watched, holding his breath. His pupils dilated in surprise. Mariana pushed open the main door. She looked anxious. Lord Tristan has arrived. Sophia lowered her eyes. Her fingertip lightly brushed the rim of her teacup. Oh, really, sorry. Forgive the interruption. He was surrounded by several maids. Mariana wondered, why now of all times? Sophia rested her chin on her hand. Did he see something in the newspaper? Suddenly he starts missing his child? Mariana said, I saw it too. You caught those bandits, right? I wish I could have seen you in action up close. To see you show off your skills. Sophia set down her teacup. A faint smile was on her lips. I was indeed there, but it was Lord Leo who actually caught them. Mariana's expression became hesitant. Speaking of Lord Leo, is everything okay? Sophia tilted her head slightly. What do you mean? Mariana lowered her voice. Hayes, very handsome, but Hayes always so stern. I heard Hayes very cold toward women. Many of his subordinates have run away out of fear. Sophia was taken aback. He does look stern and distant. But that doesn't mean he never smiles. Mariana covered her mouth. A blush spread across her face. Sophia's brow furrowed. Wait, what's with that look? Don't get any weird ideas, okay? Mariana said, I just thought your reaction was a little strange. Sophia closed her eyes. Dealing with Tristan has already exhausted me. I'm in no mood for jokes right now. Besides, there's also Leo. Leo was standing by the door.
He gave a light tap on the doorframe.
Sorry to interrupt. Mariana's eyes lit up. He really is handsome. Sophia turned her head. She looked toward the door. Speak of the devil. And he shall appear, Leo said. Adam has asked for you to come to his room. Sophia's eyes widened slightly. She looked surprised. Adam was standing by the wall. The wall behind him was covered in colorful drawings. Sophia asked, What are all these? Adam spread his arms wide. These are all letters for you, mother. Sophia froze on the spot. For me? Adam looked up. With a bright smile. Thank you for everything you've done for me, mother. Sophia covered her flushed cheeks with her hands. Her pupils quivered. Adam pulled a drawing from his vest. He handed it to Mariana. I prepared one for you too. Sophia took Adam's hand. She pointed to the artwork on the wall. You drew so many. Is this a flower? Adam stood on his tiptoes. Yes, and a little bird. Sophia pointed to one of the drawings on the wall. Her smile froze. What is this one? In the center was a messy black scribble. The lines were chaotic and tangled. It had an eerie vibe. Sophia leaned in to examine the black creature. Mariana looked equally puzzled. Or is it supposed to be night or something? Adam stood between the two of them. He looked a bit uneasy. Leo spoke up, That's a crow. The three of them turned their heads at once. Wait, does that mean Adam looked up? I asked Lord Leo to draw one too. Leo looked away. He lightly touched the back of his neck. His expression betrayed a hint of embarrassment. He said you liked birds. As you can see, I'm not very good at drawing. Sophia and Mariana froze in place. Their pupils quivered slightly. Sophia covered her mouth. Her shoulders shook. Mariana whispered, Sophia, don't. Sophia said, I'm not laughing at the drawing. I just always thought Lord Leo was capable of everything. Seeing that he also has a side he's not good at is truly quite amusing. Leo's brow was furrowed, his eyes showing a hint of embarrassment. You're laughing way too much. A small yellow bird was drawn on the paper, with crooked lines marking its childish chirping. Leo leaned down. Isn't it the same for you? Sophia said, her expression startled. Mariana scooted closer to Adam. The three of them sat side by side, laughter echoing throughout the room. Leo stood alone, watching the laughing group, with a deep gaze. Sophia sat by the table. I messed up again. Alice walked in quickly. My lady, you were far too careless. Sophia closed her eyes. Even though the humidity has dropped, summer is still incredibly hot. I want to go somewhere near water, like a river or the sea. Olivia walked over slowly. Sophia, would you like to accompany me? Sophia turned her head. Father, where are you going? Olivier turned to the side. I'm heading to the harbor to see a merchant ship that just returned. Sophia stood frozen in place, her pupils dilating slightly. The harbor, her eyes sparkled. That's right, the sea. The giant ship hoisted its white sails, the mermaid figurehead on the bow cutting through the waves. Sophia looked up, seeing such a massive ship for the first time. Olivier stood beside her, his voice filled with pride. Quite spectacular, isn't it? This is the finest vessel in our kingdom. They say it can withstand any storm. Sophia held the brim of her hat. Once everything settles down, I want to bring Adam here to see this too. Adam sat alone in a high-backed chair, with desserts laid out before him. Olivier walked toward the dock, waving to the returning sailors. I'm glad to see everyone has returned safely. The sailors ran over quickly, sweat dripping from their faces. My lord, you've come. They pointed towards Sophia. Who is this young lady? Olivier introduced her. This is my daughter, Sophia. She wanted to come see the ships. The sailors gathered around. My lord, we've brought back premium tea leaves this time. And these fine textiles. The brown-haired sailor laughed hard. Nowadays, few young ladies are willing to come watch their father work. Sophia placed a hand on her chest, a smile on her lips. It was truly worth the trip. It turns out father is so beloved. Olivier turned his face away, his cheeks flushing slightly. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Sophia smiled brightly. I'm being serious. Olivier cleared his throat, resting his chin on his hand. Two young sailors approached, their eyes eager. Who would have thought the Duke had such a beautiful daughter? Would the young lady like to go chat with us over there? Sophia stood stunned, looking awkward. Leo suddenly appeared. He stood behind her. Lady Sophia. What a coincidence. Sophia turned around abruptly. Lord Leo.
Leo said.
You look a bit tired. Let me accompany you to the cafe over there to rest. The two of them turned and left, walking side by side. The sailors froze in place. How is there a man beside her already? Olivier watched the two walk away, his expression turning dark. Sophia being hit on is indeed quite a bother. Sophia sat under a parasol. Thank you for helping me. Why are you here? Leo turned his face away, his gaze cold. I heard Lord Medina was at the harbor, so I came to escort him. Sophia bit her straw, her pupils dilating slightly. I see. The Medina family has close ties with the royal family. She watched the commotion in the distance. Leo stood by the parasol, his gaze directed toward the dock. Olivier was being friendly with the sailors, laughter reaching the shore. Leo looked away and glanced down at Sophia beside him. You seem to have a very good... Sophia looked up, looking confused. With my father? Leo said. With Lord Olivier, and your entire family. Sophia was stunned. May I ask about your family? Lord Leo. Leo said. I have a father and an older sister. As for my mother, she passed away after giving birth to me. Winters in the Lorraine territory are long, and the environment is not peaceful. Border conflicts are constant. One must be strong enough to survive. My father and I were more like master and apprentice. We trained with the sword from sunrise to sunset. I couldn't sleep until I gained his approval. It was indeed difficult when I was young, but I understand he had to be strict in raising an heir. That was my family. So the warmth of the Medina family surprised me. This kind of family atmosphere is new to me. Sophia lowered her gaze. I used to think father was terrifying. I even wondered what he'd think of a daughter who ran away and never contacted him again. But when I tried to communicate honestly, the results are as you see. I never realized how much my parents worried about me. If we don't express our feelings, our relationship wouldn't be like this. Sometimes communication brings understanding. While we are both still alive, Leo gazed at her profile.
His gaze deep.
Is that true? Is it really possible? Sophia's eyes were bright. Yes, that's exactly right. The Sengses stood before the mansion, watching her parents. Her father wore a smile, his gaze gentle. Are you really leaving? If you don't want to go, you can refuse. The Sengses placed a hand on her chest, her lips curling up. Someone needs my power. I will do my best. She threw herself into her mother's arms. Wrapping her arms tightly around, she said, Please take care of yourself. Come back any time. The carriage stopped by the road. The Sengses carried her suitcase. Thank you, father, mother. I'm heading out, the crowd waved. Good luck, Lady Sengses. Please do your best. The coachman pulled the reins. The horses neighed. The wheels slowly turned. The Sengses sat inside the carriage, unfolding the letter in her hand. What is the royal capital really like? Going to a strange place always makes one a bit nervous. She looked out the window. But I'll finally be able to see you again. Sophia let out a long yawn. She turned her head to look out the window, her expression showing a hint of a daze. Clarice. Blank. The girl with special powers in the Lorraine territory. She was destined to be summoned to the royal capital by the church. Clarice will be revered as the Senses, fighting side by side with the Knight Commander Leo. Together, they will bring the Villainess who sparked the civil war to justice, none other than Sophia herself. In the end, they live happily ever after. That is the script of this world. Sophia strode forward. Clarice was summoned during the summer. That means I don't have much time left. The table was laden with exquisite desserts. Strawberry cakes gave off a tempting aroma, and thicket toast was stacked high, adorned with blueberries and cream. Sophia picked up her teacup and took a small sip of black tea. Adam sat beside her, happily stuffing treats into his mouth. Once Clarice arrives, she'll be staying in the dorms at Artois Academy. That should be quite close to here. That's where the novel's heroine spends her time. Sophia's cheeks flushed a light pink, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl upward. To be honest, as a die-hard fan of the original work, I really want to go see it for myself. I wonder if I'll get to see those cute uniforms. That's also the stage for the famous confession scene. Right, Sophia pumped her fist. I absolutely have to go on a pilgrim. Her mother watched her closely. Are you planning on going out today? Sophia's eyes darted around. I thought I'd take a look around Artois. Olivier's gaze was sharp. Well, you certainly have a clear goal. Sophia straightened her back. Adam will have to go to school eventually, right? I'm just scouting out the environment in advance. Adam's eyes sparkled. I want to see the school too. Sophia looked conflicted. I want to take you too, but she lowered her eyes. If Tristan hasn't given up yet, it could be dangerous outside. But if I keep him cooped up at home forever, I'll just be repeating the same mistakes. She held up her index finger, her expression serious. Promise me you won't wander off. Can you guarantee you'll stay right by my side? Adam nodded vigorously. I promise, her mother blinked. Since you're so worried, why not find someone to go with you? Sophia froze. Find who? Sophia clasped her hands over her chest, looking apologetic. I'm sorry to trouble you again. Leo looked stoic. This is my duty. Please, don't mention it. Artois Academy was a magnificent sight. Its white walls looked solemn in the sunlight. Sophia held Adam's hand as they stood before the gates, looking up at the towering spires. The walls were so high it felt almost suffocating. Leo looked toward the main building. This is the largest academy in the capital. It admits students aged 5 and up. Sophia drifted into a fantasy. Adam might be wearing this uniform in a few years. He'd definitely look adorable in it. Leo spoke up. Though this isn't your only option. Sophia snapped back to reality. Of course, I haven't made a final decision yet. Is something on your mind? Leo's expression was a bit hesitant. While the academy has an open atmosphere and accepts foreign exchange students, it means the student body is quite complex. You might hear some unpleasant rumors. That concerns me a little. Adam blinked his large eyes, looking clueless. Sophia pondered. Is he worried about Adam's ability? Leo lowered his gaze. I know I shouldn't interfere. Sophia shook her head gently. Not at all. Thank you for the valuable information. We will decide carefully. Suddenly, a commotion erupted in the distance. Watch where you're going. You bastard. Sophia shielded Adam, her brow furrowed. Is there a fight going on? 2 students were standing further off. The boy looked arrogant, while the girl seemed incredibly uneasy. Clarice, the Senses, waved her hands frantically, looking panicked. I'm so sorry. I wasn't looking where I was going. The other girl snarled. Don't just wander around like some country bumpkin. Sophia pulled Adam closer. Is this what Leo was worried about? It really is full of ill-mannered brats. The boy clutched his arm. You hit me, my arm hurts like hell. How do you plan to pay for this? Clarice gasped. You're hurt? Oh my, it'll heal you right away. The boy froze, his eyes full of confusion. Heal me? Light burst from around Clarice, and her skirt danced gracefully in the glow. Soft healing power instantly enveloped the injury. It's all better now. Does it still hurt anywhere? The boy stood there dazed and stammered in response. I'm fine now. Clarice's face lit up with a brilliant smile. My name is Clarice. If you ever need help again, please don't hesitate to find me. Sophia's pupils shook with shock. Pink hair, gentle purple eyes, and that power of the senses. There's no doubt about it. Leo stepped in with steady strides, his leather boots clicking on the ground, with a crisp sound.
He came to a stop behind Clarice.
His brow slightly knit. What are you doing? Clarice spun around. Leo, she lunged into his arms, wrapping her arms tightly around his waist. It's been so long. Leo's brow furrowed deeper. You're misusing your power again. If told you repeatedly, the capital is nothing like the Lorraine territory. Clarice looked up at him, with a radiant smile. I know. Leo looked away, his voice cold. No, you don't understand at all. I still cannot approve of this summons. Clarice looked confused. You said that in your letter too. But why? Leo's eyes were full of worry. The church is only exploiting your kindness. Clarice clasped her hands over her chest. Even so, as long as someone needs me, there is meaning in my being here. You haven't changed a bit. Still such a worrywart, just like always. Sophia stood in the distance, her fingertips trembling. Am I dreaming? Clarice. Blank, the miracle girl from the Lorraine territory. Hearing of her divine power, the church summoned her back to the capital and bestowed the title of Senses upon her. She is destined to fight alongside Leo, the Knight Commander. A pilgrimage to a holy site, an encounter with the Senses. Everything is proceeding according to the script. Sophia lay in her bed, a towel pressed to her forehead. Adam leaned over the side of the bed. Mother, are you okay? Sophia smiled. I'm fine, don't worry. Thank you for caring. Alice smoothed the purple bedding, with a focused it's just exhaustion. She'll be back on her feet in no time after some rest. The door clicked shut softly. Sophia lay on the bed alone. Since being reborn, the divorce papers and the bandit attack came one after another. Stress has been building up without me even realizing it. Perhaps I was just too excited to see the Senses. It was so rushed then that I couldn't even say hello properly. All of this reminds me once again that I really have reincarnated. I've come to the world of this novel. Sophia sat up in bed. She stared at the empty water pitcher. Is anyone there? The room was silent. She pulled back the purple duvet. She stepped barefoot onto the carpet. I'll just go get it myself. Sophia walked out of her room, walking around in her nightgown. Would she get scolded for this? She shook her head. It's fine, I'll just be quick. Sophia hummed a little tune as she turned the corner of the corridor. She bumped straight into someone. She looked at Leo. Why are you back? Leo raised his hand. He pressed his fingers to his forehead. He looked exhausted. I heard you weren't feeling well. What are you doing here? Sophia gripped the water pitcher. I just came out to get some water. Leo reached out and took the pitcher. Go back and rest. I'll bring it to you. He handed her his cloak. Running around in clothes like that, isn't that a bit too reckless? Sophia lowered her head. She draped the cloak over her shoulders. I'm sorry, she went back and sat on the bed. Her fingertips brushed against the warm cup of water. Lord Leo seems to be looking out for me more than usual lately. Leo sat by the bed. He expertly handled a folding knife. Red fruit peels curled away from the blade. Your bold actions occasionally surprise me. Sophia used a fork to pick up a slice of apple. She brought it to her lips. She bit into the crisp fruit. Leo gazed at her face. The more I talk to you, the more I feel you are nothing like the rumors. Sophia tilted her head. Confusion showed in her eyes. Leo said, The Lady Sophia in the rumors is selfish and cold, with absolutely no compassion. At least, that's what they say. A touch of softness flickered in his eyes. But in reality, you are thoughtful and brave. You are a person full of love. It's truly strange. I find myself unable to look away from you. He suddenly stood up. His expression was somewhat flustered. Forgive me for saying something so strange. Sophia waved her hands dismissively. Please, don't mind it. There's no need to apologize. She lowered her head. I've just never been complimented like that before. It caught me a bit off guard. Leo remained silent. Silence fell over the room. Sophia looked up, a hint of bewilderment in her eyes. Leo opened the door. I meant it. He stood in the corridor. His footsteps halted. He pressed his fingers to his lips. A blush colored his cheeks. What on earth am I saying? I should consider my position before speaking. If overstepped, bandit attacks are frequent, and Tristan is nearby. Staying vigilant is the best course of action. Stationing knights here is the most logical solution. But why do I want to protect her myself? Sophia sat on the bed. Those words just now really startled me. What on earth did he mean? I'm sure there's no deeper meaning. Yes, that must be it. I'm just the eldest daughter of the family Leo is protecting. There's no other reason besides that. Is there really no other reason? She shook her head vigorously. Her hair swayed with the movement. No, Leo already has Clarice by his side. I'm only being friendly to him, to avoid being judged. That's all it is. I'm definitely not the type to have inappropriate thoughts. Sophia held Adam in her arms. Is that the escort for Lady? Leo was dressed in a dark uniform. His gaze was cold. The cardinal has summoned him. Sophia turned her head. The Sengses must have had a hard time lately. Leo lowered his gaze. Lady Sophia isn't feeling well. It feels wrong to leave at a time like this. Sophia smiled. Her gaze brushed past the maids behind her. Please, don't worry about us. You two come from the same hometown. I'm sure you have plenty to catch up on. Take your time. Leo was silent for a moment. He gave a slight nod. Understood. Adam leaned against the windowsill, looking up at the sky. It looks like it's going to rain. Sophia stood behind him. You're right. The cathedral spires pierced the heavens. A shroud of clouds enveloped the entire building. Clarice clasped her hands tightly, closing her eyes in prayer. Lucas stared out the window. It's raining. Clarice had a smile on her lips. I'm so glad you came to pick me up in a carriage. Lucas said, I couldn't let the Sengses get wet. I'll take you back. Don't worry. Leo's brow was furrowed. There was a gloom in his eyes. Lucas patted him on the shoulder. Don't make that face. Everything is going smoothly. Leo said, Can we really say everything is going smoothly? Lucas gave a light chuckle. Being evaluated is only to be expected. For all of us. The weather is bad enough already. Stop making such a somber face. Clarice's eyes sparkled. I'm so glad Leo has Lucas by his side. He's not very good at expressing his feelings. Right, Lucas's eyes widened. Is Leo only a little bad at it? Clarice's lips curled up. To know there is someone in the capital who gets along with him, it really puts my mind at ease. Leo turned his head away. I'm not a child anymore. Besides, it's not just Lucas. Clarice nodded in agreement. That's true. I met the ladies of the Medina family the other day. Thunder rumbled. Blue lightning flashed through the corridor. Clarice cried out and lunged into Leo's arms. I'm sorry. Lucas looked out the window. That gave me a fright. That light was so bright. Leo remained silent. Sophia's image flashed through his mind. Clarice looked up at Leo. When all of this is over, can I live however I want? I want to find a quiet place for us to talk properly. Leo turned to leave. I'm sorry, I have matters to attend to. I must head back now. Lucas watched Leo walk away. You're going back? How are you getting there? Leo mounted his horse. He tightened the reins. Don't worry. I'm leaving Clarice in your hands. Clarice and Lucas were stunned. Leo galloped off into the rain. If I can just get closer to him, maybe there's something I can do. I know I'm worrying too much. Leo stood to the side. He handed his soaked coat to a maid. He looked at Sophia. How are you feeling? Sophia blinked. She raised her arm and flexed playfully. As you can see, I'm perfectly fine. Leo remained silent. Rainwater trickled down his cheeks, soaking his white shirt. Sophia turned to the maid. Lord Leo might catch a cold. Go and prepare a hot bath immediately. And bring a change of clothes as well. Leo stood rooted to the spot, letting the water droplets fall to the floor. I'll dry off even if you just leave me be. Sophia hurried forward, pushing against his back with both hands. That simply won't do. Hurry now, thunder rumbled. Adam cried out and hid behind Sophia. The cathedral spires towered through the curtain of rain. Wearing her round-rimmed glasses, Clarice clasped her hands tightly to her and looked up at the dark clouds. A smirk played on Lucas's lips. What do you plan to do? If you'd like some tea, I can keep you company. Clarice lowered her gaze. I'm going back to the dormitory. Leo has been very busy lately. Right, Lucas walked up to her side. A lot has indeed happened recently. You've known him since you were children, haven't you? Clarice said. I believe we first met when we were 7. I have many things I want to ask about life in the royal capital. Lucas looked at her. If there's anything I'm able to answer. Clarice hesitated. Is that so? Lucas gave a bright smile. You'll have plenty more opportunities to chat with Leo in the future. Clarice forced a smile and nodded in agreement. Yes, I suppose you're right. Lucas's gaze turned cold. It's best not to tell him.
Leo is off duty now.
Clarice stared down at the ground, looking lonely. Sophia raised one hand high above her head, stretching her stiff body. Alice stepped forward. Lady Sophia. A red-haired maid walked in quickly, her expression reserved. Sophia looked at the new face, with a gentle smile. Is this a new member of the staff? It's a pleasure to meet you. The red-haired maid straightened her back. Yes, my name is Rita. I am taking over Miss Sheila's duties starting today. Adam suddenly pulled away from his mother's hand and ran playfully deep into the garden. Rita let out a startled cry. Young Master Adam. Please wait. Sophia stood where she was, watching the scene unfold. I'm going to play with Adam to his heart's content today. Leo stood blocking the exit of the corridor, his gaze cold and sharp. Are you going out? Sophia stopped in her tracks and looked up. I'm just taking Adam to the garden. Leo stepped aside. I shall come along. Sophia's pupils wavered slightly. Aren't you working right now, Lord Leo? Leo remained expressionless. Today is my day off. A smile played on Sophia's lips. I see. In that case, please be sure to get some proper rest. Leo turned away, without stopping his pace. Adam was nearly kidnapped in the garden before. Sophia froze in place, her hands reflexively clenching. Leo stopped walking and placed his right hand over his heart. I will only watch from a distance. Sophia lowered her head, a hint of helplessness between her brows. Since you put it that way, I understand. It is indeed reassuring to have Lord Leo present. Leo said, Thank you very much. Sophia shook her head. We are the ones who should be thanking you. This is your precious day off, after all. Leo started walking again. Precisely because it is a precious day off. Sophia watched Leo's figure. Precisely because it's his day off. He has to follow us? What does he mean by that? She knelt down beside Adam, her fingers deftly intertwining the flower stems. Adam's eyes widened as he watched his mother's movements. Sophia quickened her pace, weaving a circle of small white flowers. They are all finished. She placed the flower crown on Adam's head. Wonderful, you're a flower prince. Adam held the flower crown on his head, a sparkle in his eyes. If I'm a prince, does that mean Mother is a princess? Sophia held up an index finger, a mischievous smile on her face. If Adam is a prince, then I should be a queen or an empress. I'm no princess. Adam puffed out his chest and took Sophia. Then in the future, I'll make a crown fit for a queen. He pointed to the blooming flower beds. Which kind of flower does Mother like? Sophia looked around. Let me think. My favorite is definitely. Adam tilted his head as he asked Sophia. Right, it has the same name as mother. Sophia nodded with a smile. It was named that to commemorate my birth. Adam squinted his eyes and laughed heartily. It's as lovely as mother. Sophia suddenly clutched her chest and leaned back, struck by the pure, innocent praise. She steadied her breathing. By the way, I baked the cookies you like. Let's eat them right here while we look at the flowers. Adam cheered, hooray. Sophia looked at Alice. I prepared plenty. Will Alice join us too? Alice looked at the maid behind her. Rita, please take good care of young Master Adam. Rita nodded. Leave it to me. Adam knelt before the flowers, his fingertips lightly touching a pink petal. I want to use this flower to make a crown for Mother. May I pick it? Rita pressed her finger to her lips, thinking for a moment. New buds will grow back after they're picked. It should be fine, right? She leaned down and gave Adam an encouraging smile. Of course you can. Lady Sophia will surely be very happy. Adam clenched his fists, his eyes shining. Great, he picked up the shears and gave the flower stem a firm snip. Adam looked at the woven crown. It's finished. Rita clapped her hands together. Young Master Adam is truly talented at this. Sophia approached carrying a basket, a curious smile on her face. What are you doing? Adam turned around. Welcome back, Mother. He held the pink flower crown up high, his cheeks flushed. Sophia stopped in her tracks, her pupils shrinking in shock. Alice reached out with a terrified Young Master Adam. Sophia stopped Alice, a reassuring smile on her lips. It's all right. She looked at Adam, her eyes full of pleasant surprise. It's so beautiful. Adam, did you make this for me? Adam nodded vigorously, holding the crown above his head with both hands. Yes, this is for you, Mother. Sophia leaned down and closed her eyes, letting Adam place the heavy, elaborate crown upon her hair. A blissful curve appeared on her lips. Thank you for making it with my favorite flowers. I'm truly happy. Leo stood in the distance, his gaze falling upon the empty flower stalks. Is there something special about that flower? Alice said. Actually, it's a new variety specially bred for Lady Sophia. It was the last seedling, and it only just bloomed a few days ago. Lady Sophia has always been very protective of it. Rita covered her mouth, her pupils trembling violently. What have I done? Alice placed a hand on Rita's shoulder. I'm sorry, I should have explained it earlier.
Leo asked.
It's a very rare species then. Alice replied in a low voice. I don't know if it will sprout new buds again. We might never see that flower bloom again. Leo walked forward silently. Sophia was sitting on a bench, looking up at the figure approaching her. Leo leaned over and picked up a flower. If it's all right, could I have this flower? Sophia was slightly taken aback, her eyes flickering. Leo pinched the stem and held it up to his eyes. There's something I want to try. Sophia, wearing a flower crown, looked confused. Sure, but what are you trying to do? Adam suddenly sneezed. Leo looked at Adam. It's getting cold. Let's go inside before I explain. The maid Rita stepped forward and put a coat on Adam with gentle movements. Leo turned toward the mansion. I heard that flower had a special meaning to you. Sophia stopped in her tracks. About that, Adam. Leo turned his head slightly. I understand. Adam leaned over the table, staring at the blue powder in the wooden box. Leo rolled up his sleeves and sifted through the powder with his fingertips. Flowers wither and die once they bloom. Right, but if you remove the moisture before they wither, you can preserve their beauty forever. Adam tilted his head, his eyes full of curiosity. Do we bury the flower in this drying powder? Leo gave a small nod. Do you want to try? Sophia leaned down to be by Adam's side. Adam took a wooden spoon and covered the pink flower with the blue powder. He closed the lid of the wooden box. I did it. Leo watched him. He did that very well. Now leave it for a week, and the dried flower will be finished. He held up a bunch of purple dried flowers. This is the final result. Adam looked up, his eyes shining with admiration. Lord Leo knows everything.
Leo said.
My hometown is very cold. It's hard for flowers to survive there. To enjoy them for a long time, the people there came up with this method. Sophia held a purple petal in her hand, her eyes full of wonder. It's so simple. Even Adam can learn it. Leo turned his head. That's true. But I used to fail all the time. Sophia covered her mouth. Is there a difficult step involved? Leo turned his face away, avoiding her gaze. Maybe I took the flowers out too early. Or I was too rough when brushing off. He knit his brows slightly, a hint of embarrassment in his eyes. Eventually, the villagers begged me, please don't help anymore. Sophia looked at Leo's stoic profile. Some people fail because they try too hard. It seems Hay's one of them. She giggled behind her hand, her expression full of gentleness. So there are things you aren't good at. Leo reached out his hand. Could I see the flower bed from earlier again? Sophia nodded. I don't mind. The two stood side by side in front of the flowers. The sunset stained the sky red. Leo looked at the greenery. Why don't we plant some new flowers? This time, for Adam. Sophia snapped her head toward him, her pupils trembling. Lord Leo. Thank you. His lips curled up. Since we're planting, I want to choose flowers that suit Adam best. Leo said, please let me help with the selection. He avoided Sophia's gaze. Since it was my idea, it's only right that I assist. Sophia watched his profile. But I'm always the one receiving your help. Leo was silent for a moment, his throat moving slightly as he swallowed. I also think Adam is very cute. You don't need to worry about that. Sophia chuckled softly. Wait, has Lord Leo been captured by Adam's charm too? Leo closed his eyes and remained silent for a moment. Yes, I wasn't originally very good with children. But when Adam looks up at me with such pure, sincere admiration, it's impossible to refuse him. He reached out to touch a leaf, a faint smile on his lips. Hay's a child raised with so much love by Lady Sophia. Sophia's cheeks flushed. How unexpected. To hear such words from Leo. All this time, I thought he was just a perfect hero from a novel. But here he is, a living, breathing person. Sophia tilted her head, a smile on her lips. What kind of flower do you think suits Adam? Leo rested his fingers on his chin, lost in thought. Perhaps sunflowers. Sophia nodded. That sounds wonderful. They suit him perfectly. If Adam is a sunflower, then his mother must be a cosmos.
Leo said.
The language of the flower is harmony and humility, and also the purity of a maiden. Sophia looked at Leo, her eyes wide with surprise. You've even memorized the language of flowers? Leo looked away. I'm good at memorizing. Everything is stored in my head. Sophia's cheeks turned red. Lord Leo is so knowledgeable. Leo covered his mouth and cleared his throat. Sophia looked up at the sunset. It would be lovely to create a flower bed that represents our family. That would be so wonderful. The butler pushed open the heavy doors and bowed slightly. Clarice walked down the corridor, her hands folded in front of her. Leo has no intention of seeing me at all, even though I've already come here. However, it's good to have a friend like Lucas. Thanks to his mediation. She stopped abruptly. She stared straight ahead. Leo was looking at Sophia. Next time I'll take you to a shop called La Sosta. It's the best select shop in the capital. Sophia's expression was full of anticipation. I can't wait to see Adam's happy face. Clarice hid behind a pillar. That shop, Leo smiled. Let's keep it a secret for now. We'll give him a surprise. Clarice stood under the grand archway. She lowered her head. Is that woman the mistress of this house? The butler bowed slightly, his expression solemn. Lady Sophia is the daughter of this family. A maid leaned into Clarice's. I heard she got divorced, and that she returned to her parents' home with her son. Clarice's profile was veiled in shadow. So she's back. Back to this family. The butler looked up sharply, a look of shock on his face. What did you just say? Clarice turned around. Since Leo is looking after her, I ought to pay a formal visit. I'll change my plans for tomorrow. Can you help me notify the church? 2 days later, Lucas placed a hand over his chest and bowed slightly. Lady Sanxes, I apologize for appearing so suddenly. Clarice stopped in her tracks and looked at the man before her. Hello, Lucas. Lucas's eyes were filled with curiosity. What wind brings you here? A smile played on Clarice's lips. I heard Leo is off duty today, and I was hoping to see him. Lucas furrowed his brow slightly. Why didn't you just tell him directly? Aren't the two of you childhood friends? Clarice's expression grew weary. Even if I wanted to go there, the Medina family wouldn't feel at ease. She clasped her hands to her chest, her eyes filled with entreaty. So, could you help me? I've only just arrived at the royal capital. Lucas, you're the only person I can rely on. The two guards exchanged looks, their expressions solemn. Lucas looked at her. Very well, I'll accompany you to the Medina estate. Clarice pressed her hands together, joy sparkling in her eyes. Lucas turned his head away, looking somewhat exasperated. Lucas stood at the estate entrance, looking rather flustered.
He watched Clarice's departing back.
With a deep frown. It looks like things are about to get complicated. Sophia took Leo's arm as they entered a grand boutique. She looked around at her surroundings. This really is a charming place. I never expected you to like such a cozy little shop, Lord Leo. Sophia stopped, her gaze fixed ahead. Clarice was talking to a shop assistant. Clarice turned around, her violet eyes shimmering. Leo, I'm so happy to run into you here. Leo's eyes widened in surprise, his expression one of utter bewilderment.
Clarice.
What are you doing here? Clarice pressed her hands together, a smile on her face. I've been thinking about you, Leo, and this was the first place that came to mind. Do you remember when my shoes were worn out? You noticed, and bought me a new pair from this very store. Leo had knelt on one knee, holding her ankle, as he put the lace-up shoes on her. I simply thought they suited you, Clarice. Clarice lifted the hem of her skirt and looked down at her toes. To this day, I still treasure them. Sophia stood to the side. Am I interrupting them? Leo's expression was stern. That did happen, yes. As for today...
Lady Clarice?
Clarice let out a small gasp. She walked over to Sophia. Lady Sophia, I apologize for only greeting you now. I hope Leo has been taking good care of you. Sophia watched her, her expression somewhat stiff. It's fine, Clarice said. I'd like to borrow Leo for a moment. I need him to help me pick out a dress. Sophia turned her head to look at the man beside her. If you have no objection, Lord Leo. Leo turned his head to look at Sophia. That wouldn't be right. I came here to accompany you. He turned to Clarice. Could you please be understanding today? I don't believe you need my help picking out a dress. Clarice held out a letter. Leo, you're still as stubborn as you've always. Take a look at this. Leo took the envelope, his fingertips trembling slightly. Why did father act on his own initiative? Clarice rested her chin in her hand, her expression weary. If my uncle makes a request, I truly cannot refuse. Sophia watched the two of them. If it's urgent, please go ahead and attend to it. Leo turned his head, his eyes filled with a complex emotion. Lady Sophia. Sophia offered a smile. It'll be fine. It was enough for you to introduce this shop to me. Leo's expression was grave. I will finish this and return as quickly as possible. Clarice's eyes widened. What are you talking about? I've been introduced? As your potential fiancé. I want to take my time picking out a suitable gown. Leo turned his face away, his voice cold. You are still only a candidate. Do not say things that might cause misunderstandings. Clarice spoke. Everyone seems so enthusiastic about it. If you would become my partner, Leo, I would be so happy. Sophia mused to herself. Leo and Clarice are engaged. They will eventually marry. It's only natural. Lucas frowned deeply, watching the scene inside the shop. I hope my intuition isn't right. Clarice looked at Sophia, While I think it's still a bit early, everyone around us is pushing for the engagement. I don't want to force Leo's hand. Sophia smiled. I understand. Clarice clasped her hands to her chest. I don't intend to back down to anyone. Sophia looked at her, a smile on her lips. Yes, that is quite admirable. Clarice continued. That's why, seeing you rely on him so much, it makes me feel concerned. Leo will have to leave the Medina family eventually. One he, depending on him, isn't good for you, Lady Sophia, or for your child. Sophia's eyes widened in surprise, her expression one of bewilderment. She quickly regained her composure. There's no need to worry about that. We have wealth enough. As long as my son is by my side, everything will be just fine. She placed a hand over her heart, her gaze gentle yet firm. Even if I were to be hurt, as long as my son finds happiness, that is all that truly matters. Clarice stood frozen, her pupils trembling slightly. Sophia turned her head and looked into Clarice's face. You should be able to understand that feeling, right? After all, you are also a noble lady in love. Clarice lowered her head. Perhaps that's true. Sophia looked at her. In that case, I won't just convey your feelings to him. But please make sure to cherish his feelings as well. As his friend, I also hope he finds happiness. Sophia suddenly looked up, her eyes shimmering. Indeed, Lucas, hiding in the shadows, stood with his arms crossed. The rumored Villainess and the actual Lady Clarice couldn't be more different. As I thought, rumors and hearsay are all unreliable. He raised his hand. His fingers ran through his hair. He looked deeply conflicted. If I try to approach her, will she be angry? Leo stared straight ahead. His pupils quivered slightly. The engagement ceremony will be held in a week. Aren't we still in the stage of screening candidates? Clarice asked. While I was summoned to the royal capital, this seems to have been arranged by His Holiness the Pope. Leo slumped onto the bench. He covered his face with one hand. How did it come to this? No one even bothered to ask for my opinion. They waited until it was a settled matter. Sophia stood by his side. Concern was etched in her eye. Leo gripped the letter in his hand tightly. His knuckles turned white from the strain. As expected in father's eyes, I am nothing but a tool. The magnificent pinkish-purple gown stood silently. Its layered ruffles shimmered under the light. Clarice lightly touched the ribbon on the dress. A smile played on her lips. I need to make some preparations. So I'll return to Lorraine for a bit. Leo suddenly looked up. His eyes were filled with determination. I'll go with you. He thought to himself, I don't want things to continue to worsen while I am away. Clarice looked hesitant. But what about your work? Leo threw on his dark cloak. He strode forward. I'll find a way to handle it. After all, this concerns my entire future. Clarice stood frozen in place. She clenched her hands tightly to her chest. I can't believe it. Leo actually cares about me this much. Leo turned his head. His tone was urgent. Hurry up, Clarice lifted her skirt. She followed quickly. Coming, Leo looked at Sophia. His eyes were apologetic. Sorry, some urgent matters came up suddenly. Can you head back to the Medina estate on your own? Sophia smiled. It's fine, I have a few things I'd like to take care of too. I'll stay here for a while. Clarice stood by the carriage. She waved her hands vigorously. Let's head out. Leo placed a hand over his chest. He looked solemn. I'll make it up to you later. There was a hint of loneliness in his eyes. In the end, I still couldn't give that to her. He turned and walked away. Wait for me to return. I must give it to her personally. Sophia watched the carriage disappear into the distance. The story is progressing smoothly. She stood alone before the flower-covered counter. Her gaze was hesitant. What should I do? A hand reached out. Are you looking for flowers? Sophia looked up abruptly. She recognized the face of the newcomer. Lucas, why are you here? Lucas bowed slightly. Because I saw a beautiful lady left all alone. Would you like me to accompany you? Sophia's smile was polite yet distant. There's no need. She turned her head. avoiding his gaze. I already have an appointment with Leo. Lucas placed a hand over his heart. He looked embarrassed. You're more rational than I imagined. I suppose that makes sense. Sophia raised an eyebrow. Her gaze was scrutinizing. So, what are you doing here? Lucas's smile faded. He looked into her eyes. I want to get to know the real you. Sophia was slightly taken aback. She repeated his words. The real me? Lucas narrowed his eyes. He gave a bright smile. The way you gently advised Clarice. It's completely different from the rumors. I want to know, which one is the true you? Sophia said, eavesdropping is quite the interesting hobby, isn't it? Lucas placed a hand on the back of his head. He looked awkward. Sorry, the atmosphere seemed tense just now. So I waited for a bit. But it seems there was no need for me to intervene. Sophia's gaze remained searching. So you originally planned to act as a mediator? Should I thank you for that? Lucas leaned forward. No need, but please tell me one other thing. Even though you rejected me, why did you let Leo accompany you shopping? Sophia lowered her eyes. Leo brought me here out of consideration for my feelings. That thoughtfulness made me very happy. Lucas stood up straight. Then let's make a bet. Sophia looked puzzled. Lucas turned his back. Please wait a moment. He walked toward a nearby attendant. They spoke in low tones. His figure looked composed. Sophia squinted her eyes. She looked suspicious. What exactly is he doing? She withdrew her gaze. She stared at the clusters of flowers on the counter. I was planning on heading home. I wonder if Adam will feel lonely. Adam's smiling face flashed through her mind. Her lips curled upward. I should buy some gifts and head back quickly. And for everyone at the estate, I'll bring something for them as well. Lucas walked over slowly. A confident smile was on his lips. The terms of the bet are as follows. If I can see through Lady Sophia's thoughts, then I win. Sophia wore a confused expression. My thoughts? Lucas closed his eyes. Right now you must be thinking about heading home. Sophia was slightly stunned. That's true. Lucas suddenly whipped off the white cloth covering a cart. His movements were swift. On the cart were neatly arranged magnificent necklaces, exquisite headpieces, and a wooden rocking horse. Lucas pointed at the cart full of gifts. He gave a radiant smile. And now you must be thinking of this as well. Buying souvenirs for your family and the servants. I guessed right, didn't I? I've picked out some nice items. Sophia opened her mouth in surprise. Her pupils quivered slightly. She leaned over to look at the cart. How beautiful! She picked up the wooden rocking horse. Her gaze softened. Adam will surely love this. Lucas watched Sophia silently. His gaze was deep. Sophia looked up. Her eyes met his. That's very impressive. How did you know? Lucas folded his arms. A triumphant smile was on his lips. By observing your interaction with Clarice earlier, I could more or less figure it out. Sophia gripped the gift box in her hands. She looked astonished. Based on just that short conversation, you could see through everything. Your insight is very keen. Lucas took a step. His smile grew even brighter. Then, as a reward, would you care to go on a date with me? Sophia's face became expressionless. Her gaze was cold. No, Lucas's face immediately fell. He looked embarrassed. Sophia's tone was flat. Do you still plan on helping me move these things? Weren't you going to accompany me? Since you won the bet, let's go. Lucas suddenly clenched his fist. He let out a cheer. Awesome. Sophia watched his retreating back. To think someone actually wants to go on a date with me? What an eccentric person. But I'm glad you're trying to get to know the real me. Candlelight flickered in the hall. Clarice stopped in her tracks, gazing at the back of the clergyman ahead of her. Lady Sophia, is she truly a bad person? The priest's voice was cold. Yes, this news came directly from her ex-husband. There is no mistake. Clarice knitted her brows. But she has been supporting me all this time. And Leo, too. Just like His Imperial Majesty did. The priest turned his head slightly. You are far too kind. That is why these things trouble you. Ignore those who call you a villainess. You are the pride of the church, the true senses. Go now, everything is just beginning. Isn't that right? Clarice bowed slightly, responding in a soft voice. Yes, they'll head out immediately. She turned and walked toward the end of the hall, pushing open the heavy wooden doors. The priest remained alone in the dim light. That girl might actually be quite useful. As long as we can secure the strongest knight, there will be nothing to fear from Leo Lauren. Adam sat kneeling on the floor, clutching a puppet in his hand. Isn't Lord Leo coming home today? Sophia leaned down. It seems so. But if you wait patiently, he will be back soon. Adam held up a drawing with both hands. But I want to show this to Leo right now. Sophia recalled how Leo once praised Adam for being cute. She composed herself and suggested, then shall we mail it to him? Lord Leo will surely be delighted. Adam's eyes sparkled, and a wide smile spread across his face. Sophia said, if we send it now, it might even arrive at the same time he does. Adam leaned over the table, diligently coloring with his brush. A maid stood by, handing him tools. Sophia fell into deep thought. However, did a situation like this ever happen in the novel? The carriage sped through the forest, its wheels rattling over the gravel and kicking up clouds of dust. Clarice leaned against the carriage window, looking absolutely thrilled. Leo sat inside, his expression grim. His eyes scanned the documents. Though I'm heading to the capital to keep an eye on the church, I didn't expect I'd have to return to investigate that matter. I hope this doesn't affect the Lorraine territory. Clarice watched his profile, her pupils trembling slightly. Clarice ran toward the manor gates, her skirt fluttering in the wind. I'm home. Her mother opened her arms to welcome her daughter back. Welcome home. Leo took off his coat and handed it to the butler who came to meet him. Thank you. Where is father? The butler replied, he is in his room. You should go and pay your respects to him first. We can discuss the engagement later. Leo walked down the long corridor. I must confirm that man's connection to the church. The study was exquisitely furnished. Sunlight streamed through the high windows, spilling across the mahogany desk. Aldrov lifted his teacup. If run out of patience waiting. Leo pushed the door open and entered, coming to a halt before the desk. My apologies, I just arrived. Aldrov set down his teacup. Enough with the pleasantries. The guests have been waiting for quite some time. Head to the drawing room at once. Leo spoke up. Please, allow me to suspend the engagement with the Florio family. Aldrov lowered his gaze slightly, his eyes cold as ice. Are you saying you intend to defy my decision? Leo said, I only wish for you to consider my perspective. Aldrov sighed. Then let's hear it. Leo looked at his father. First of all, I want to know the reason behind this marriage proposal. Aldrov said, what use is that knowledge to you? Leo's voice was firm. If I can understand the reason, I promise I will reconsider. Aldrov closed his eyes, his expression indifferent. Because Lady Clarice is a good fit for our family. You don't have anyone you're fond of anyway. Do you? In that case, there should be no issue with this marriage. Leo turned his head away. As I thought, he's hiding something. There had been several engagement proposals before. For diplomatic interests, his father had once favored a lady from a neighboring country. Why the sudden change of heart? Leo spoke. You never used to think like this. I always believed you would respect my wishes. Is there another reason? Aldrov leaned back in his chair. I have never been a competent father. Even so, I truly wish for your happiness. I don't expect you to believe me, but please remain silent and accept this. Leo whispered under his breath. Father, I had hoped you would trust me and tell me the truth. He bowed his head, his shoulders trembling slightly. Does my opinion not matter at all in the end? Aldrov stood by the desk. That's right, Leo nodded. I understand. Father, Clarice poked her head in. Are you two finished talking? Aldrov looked toward the door. Yes, we just finished. Clarice folded her hands over her chest. I'd like to speak with Leo alone. Leo walked straight toward the end of the corridor. Clarice froze, then suddenly snapped out of it. Leo, wait. Aldrov stood by the desk, his gaze profound. Clarice caught up with Leo in the hallway, reaching out to grab his sleeve. Leo, she was out of breath. You've looked lost in thought for a long time. Could it be that you don't want to marry me? Leo turned back, his expression cold. It's not that. Clarice reached out, placing her hand over the back of Leo's. I hope you don't overthink things. This is merely a political marriage. You are the head of a ducal house. To continue the family bloodline, marriage is a necessity. For the sake of Loren's future, you must choose a partner with superior credentials. In that regard, I know Lorraine very well, and our families are a perfect match. Furthermore, the Pope supports us as well. Leo said, was this engagement the Pope's idea? Panic flickered in Clarice's eyes. It's not like that. He is merely praying for our happiness. Leo pushed Clarice's hand away. I see. Clarice looked up, her pupils constricting slightly. Someone stood on the high balcony, looking down at the two of them, with a mocking smirk on his lips. Things are getting interesting. He crossed his arms over his chest. How about I lend a hand as well? Clarice stood by the door, watching Leo's retreating figure. She started to walk, stumbling slightly as she moved. She accidentally bumped into a servant coming from the opposite direction, and letters scattered all over the floor. The servant spoke in a hurry. I am so sorry. Clarice apologized in a low voice. I wasn't paying attention either. His eyes locked onto one of the letters. It was addressed to Leo, the sender was Sophia Medina. Clarice gripped the envelope tightly. She turned around abruptly. Avoiding the attendant's gaze, the silver-haired woman watched everything in silence. The Lorraine territory. The stone towers loomed over the training grounds. Leo strode through the gates. Young soldiers gathered around him. Their expressions were full of excitement. Welcome back, Lord Leo. Leo stopped in his tracks.
He turned his head toward the soldiers behind him.
Has there been any change? A soldier with short light blue hair stood at attention and saluted. Everything is normal. There are no issues at all. The young soldiers crowded around him. They looked a bit flustered. We've been flooded with inquiries. Everyone is asking if the captain's engagement is real. Leo raised his hand to adjust his collar. His gaze drifted elsewhere. Sorry, that matter has been put on hold for now. He turned around. The engagement will likely be cancelled. Until then, please remain vague about it. The soldier looked confused. Why, I thought you were really getting married. Leo took off his heavy uniform coat, leaving him in just a white shirt. I never intended to mislead anyone. But I'm sorry. I couldn't meet everyone's expectations. I haven't been back in a long time. I want to move my body a bit. The blade sliced through the air, letting out a sharp ring. Leo held the hilt at an angle. His eyes locked onto the soldiers in front of him. Care to spar with me? The soldiers looked at each other. Then they burst into excited cheers. The captain is going to personally train us. Before long, the soldiers were slumped on the ground, panting heavily. Leo's gaze was cold. Can you still go on? Attack me properly. The soldiers looked exhausted. We've already given it our all. A silver-haired woman approached. Her skirt fluttered in the breeze. That's enough for now, don't you think? The soldiers looked up sharply. Hope reignited in their eyes. It's Lady Lisette. We're saved. Lisette walked up slowly. A gentle smile played on her lips. Welcome home. Leo sheathed his sword. He looked slightly surprised. Sister, he placed his hand over his chest and bowed slightly. Forgive me for not greeting you sooner. Lisette pulled a bottle of wine from her robe. I thought it had been a while since we shared a drink. I happened to grab the most expensive bottle. You'll be my accomplice. Want you? Leo stared at the crest on the bottle. That's from Father's private collection. Isn't it? The soldiers quickly brought over a table and chairs, and laid out a white tablecloth. Lisette pointed toward the edge of the training grounds. Let's drink over there. The soldiers saluted in unison and tactfully retreated into the distance. Well, take our leave then. The wine glasses clinked. The amber liquid swayed. Cheers. Lisette took a sip of the wine. She squinted her eyes in satisfaction. Delicious. This wine is expensive after all. Leo sat on a wooden chair. Sister, you came here to talk business, didn't you? Lisette leaned on the table. Her fingertips traced the rim of her glass. If you look closely, it's all too obvious. Why do you two always take the long way around? Leo turned his head. What do you mean? Lisette swirled her glass. About the engagement with Clarice. Don't you want to ask Father? If the church said something? Isn't that what you want to know? Leo lowered his gaze. Father believes my opinion doesn't matter. Perhaps it's because, as an heir, I'm still not mature enough. That's why I want to resolve this on my own. A helpless smile touched Lisette's lips. You're hopeless. The two of you are just as stubborn as each other. Father always used to say that Leo's marriage would be his own decision. But then he suddenly changed his tune and ordered you to marry Clarice. No matter how much I asked him back then, he wouldn't say a word. So I did some digging. I found out that during that time, Father met someone in secret. Leo's expression grew serious. Someone from the church? Lisette propped her chin on her hand. I don't know the specific details, but what is certain is that some kind of deal was made between them. Leo nodded. Just as I thought. Sister, I owe you one. Lisette rested her cheek on her hand. Her lips curled into a sly smile. Then finish this glass for me. Leo stared at the glass in front of him. Looking slightly hesitant, he picked up the glass and downed it in one go. The pungent liquid slid down his throat. It tastes good. Lisette let out a light laugh. A triumphant look showed in her eyes. Right, now you're my accomplice. Go take the punishment from Father for me. This is how you repay the favor. Leo closed his eyes and let out a helpless sigh. Understood, he stood up, feeling the gentle breeze. I really can't win against her. Lisette walked up beside him. Go and protect the future of Lorraine. And your own future as well. Make it happen with your own two hands. He turned his head. A smile played on his lips. After all, you are my little brother. Leo lowered his eyes. His expression softened. Yes, Lisette pulled a letter from her robe. She held it out to him. And this. It was sent to the wrong address. Now it's back with its rightful owner. Leo reached out and took the envelope. His pupils quivered slightly. It's from young Lord Adam. Leo opened the envelope. Childish handwriting came into view. I learned how to make pressed flowers as a thank you gift. Here's a pressed flower for you. He pulled a bookmark out of a small purple flower was pressed flat, fixed onto a piece of white cardstock. Leo stared at the dried flower in his hand. An involuntary smile spread across his lips. Impressive. The letter said, Adam must have put a lot of thought into this. Remember to praise him when you get home. Leo gripped the letter. His fingertips trembled slightly. When I get home, Lisette watched his profile. I can't believe you're capable of making a face like that. Leo rested his chin on his hand. Is something wrong? Lisette said. It's a wonderful expression. I'm so curious to know what kind of person changed you. Leo handed the letter to Lisette. Have I changed? Lisette smiled. It seems so. Perhaps I should pay a visit to the Medina family as well. Leo pressed his hand against his chest. I see. He turned and left. I'm returning to the capital tomorrow. Claire sat in front of the vanity mirror, letting the maid adjust her magnificent gown. In her memory, her younger self was curled up under a tree. Tears wet the inside of the round-rimmed glasses. Leo walked over. Why are you crying? Clarice looked up. Everyone says I look strange wearing glasses. Leo leaned down close to her. That's not true. They actually suit you very well. Clarice's pupils trembled slightly. Really, Clarice took off her glasses. Her fingertips lightly touched the cold frames. I don't need these anymore. Her gaze became confident and determined. I want to become a woman worthy of being a duchess. She lifted her skirt, heading toward the brightly lit banquet hall. Leo is waiting for me. Building blocks were scattered all over the floor. Sophia spoke up quickly. I'm sorry I broke your creation. Adam stood there stunned, staring at the scattered blocks. He spoke up. I'll build it again. Servants were busy moving boxes. Adam turned around. Is grandfather going out? Sophia followed his gaze. We are going to attend the Queen's birthday ball. Adam blinked. A ball. Sophia opened the picture book in her hand. That's right. Everyone will wear grand clothes and gather together to dance. Adam leaned closer to the picture book. So that's how it is. That was a plot point from the novel. Leo and Clarice would have their first dance together at the ball. Sophia thought to herself, I'd love to witness that pure moment with my own eyes. Adam looked up. Aren't you going, mother? Sophia lowered her eyes. No, the butler pushed open the door. He looked hurried. Lady Sophia, the master is calling for you. Sophia turned around. What does he want? Adam opened his arms, threw himself into his arms. Olivier said, Sophia, can you attend the ball in my place tonight? Sophia, holding Adam, looked surprised. This is so sudden. Olivier looked serious. Important figures from the Strahan Federation have arrived unexpectedly. We must go meet them at once. But someone from the Medina family must attend the ball. The butler bowed. Master, time is short. Olivier and the Duchess walked toward the main door. I'll leave the rest to you. Sophia reached out, her fingertips stopping in midair. Wait, father. Holding Adam, she stood dazed in the empty hall. Falling into silence. I have no choice. I have to attend. Sophia looked at the servant beside her. There isn't much time left before the ball starts. Begin preparations immediately. The servants bowed and took their orders, scurrying back and forth through the corridors. Sophia set Adam down. I'm sorry, something urgent came up. I will go to the ball and fulfill my duty. So, Adam, can you help me fix the castle I just broke? Wait for me here like a good... Adam clenched his fists, his eyes bright. I'll build a super cool one. Sophia smiled. I'm looking forward to it. The royal palace hall was brilliantly lit. The massive crystal chandeliers cast a radiant glow. Nobles in pairs moved slowly across the dance floor. High society ladies whispered among themselves, their eyes following Sophia. Sophia gave a cold smirk. Rather than whispering behind my back, you might as well tell me to my face. She stopped in her tracks and looked around. There was green everywhere. Mariana looked panicked. Sophia, she grabbed Sophia's arm. You know the dress code for tonight, right? Sophia suddenly realized. I see. It seems someone spread false information. The culprit was most likely Tristan, a mocking curl on his lip. Beside him, Catherine covered her face and chuckled. Her eyes were full of contempt. Sophia turned her head, her gaze sweeping behind her like an icy blade. Mariana pressed close to her side, looking uneasy. Sophia's expression was cold. It's okay, Sophia. Back then, none of us could speak our true feelings. But it's different now. That won't happen again. Catherine waved her folding fan, a sneer on her lips. Oh my, isn't this Sophia? This is truly impolite. Not only do you have no male companion, but you haven't even followed the dress code. Breaking ties was indeed the right decision. I'd expect nothing less from my son. The sound of whispering followed. It really is quite rude. It seems Sophia has been abandoned after all. Mariana shouted. It's not like that. Sophia turned her face. It's okay, let me handle this. She lifted her skirt and stepped forward, her posture elegant. It has been a long time. Even though I still appreciate your concern. In fact, I was suddenly appointed to attend on my father's behalf, and there simply was no time to find a partner. She crossed her hands over her chest, a radiant smile on her face. This is indeed very much your style. Lady Catherine, thank you for giving me the chance to explain. The crowd discussed among themselves. Oh, was that it? That's truly commendable. Catherine turned around. Even if it was sudden, don't tell me you didn't even know the basic dress code. She raised her hand, her fingertips touching the green gem at her ear. Tonight's rule was to wear a dress that matches the color of the queen's eyes. Sophia recalled the invitation. It clearly stated, the queen's birthstone is sapphire. Was it swapped at some point? If this continues, the Medina family will be disgraced. Catherine covered her face and giggled, a sneer on her lips. How strange. The queen's eyes are clearly emerald green. She turned around and looked at Tristan behind her. Don't you agree? Tristan stepped forward slowly. Indeed, the queen's eyes are very beautiful. He raised his right hand, holding a green ring between his fingers. Just like this emerald. Sophia caught her breath, her pupils trembling slightly. Tristan leaned close to her ear. My mother has always been hostile toward you. I apologize for that. A chill rose in Sophia's heart. Wait, this doesn't feel right. Tristan had a gentle smile on his face. As compensation, please accept this. He suddenly leaned in. In exchange, if you wear our family's jewels, I want you to return to this home. Naturally, Adam will come back with you as well. Sophia froze in place. Since he couldn't take Adam away, does he plan to reclaim? She lowered her eyes, hiding the disgust within them. A classic tactic. Violating the dress code at a celebration is indeed an irredeemable disgrace. It seems my current situation leaves me no room to refuse. Tristan reached out here. Take it. He roughly grabbed Sophia's wrist. An attendant pushed open the heavy doors. Her Majesty Queen Beatrice has arrived. Sophia snapped her head around. Her pupils constricted in shock. Dressed in an elegant dark green gown, the queen stepped into the hall. Her expression was majestic and stern. She surveyed her surroundings, her hands folded in front of her. Everyone, please carry on. Thank you for gathering here for me tonight. Please, enjoy the banquet to your heart's content. Tristan turned his head, a look of triumphant mockery on his lips. As a ducal family, we must go and pay our respects immediately. He tightened his grip on her hand. A setting like this requires a dance partner, doesn't it? Sophia pushed him away. I refuse. Ensuring I adhere to the dress code is my personal responsibility. I cannot impose such a burden upon an unrelated person like you. She straightened her back, her gaze cold and resolute. Facing a despicable man like him, I will never hand Adam over. A dark glint flashed in Tristan's eyes. Your stubbornness is truly impressive. Sophia, you've brought this all on yourself.
Catherine took Tristan's arm.
Since you've rejected this kindness, you'd better go and beg the stern queen for forgiveness. Sophia walked alone through the grand hall. Under everyone's gaze, she approached the dais. She lifted her skirt and curtsied. Sophia Medina pays her respects to your majesty. The queen tilted her head slightly. Her eyes fell upon Sophia's gown. You are that notorious member of the Medina family. What happened? Did you not have enough time to prepare? Sophia lowered her eyes, avoiding that sharp gaze. The queen was known for her wisdom. A half-hearted excuse would only backfire. Rather than covering it up, it would be better to be completely honest about what happened, even if it meant exposing the Medina family's shame. Whispers broke out at the entrance of the hall. Sophia turned around, following the noise. Her pupils suddenly shrank. The crowd parted automatically to both sides. Steady footsteps approached from a distance. Leo, clad in a white robe trimmed with gold, walked slowly into the venue. Sophia caught her breath, whispering softly, Lord Leo. Leo stopped by Sophia's side, his eyes sweeping over her blue gown.
He placed a hand over his heart
and bowed slightly. Your Majesty, please forgive my tardiness. Leo Lauren pays his respects. The queen's gaze lingered on Leo. Leo, it has been a long time. Did Lisette not accompany you?
Leo said.
My partner for tonight. He extended his arm, pointing towards Sophia. Is this lady? He turned to look at Sophia, a gentle smile on his lips. His gaze was deep and focused. Sophia froze on the spot. She stared at Leo, her mind going blank. Me, Leo said. Due to urgent matters, we kept missing each other. But she promised she would wear the jewelry I gave her to meet tonight's dress code. It is the proof of our partnership. Sophia lifted her face, her pupils trembling with shock. She stared at the man beside her. Tristan spread his palms, a hypocritical smile on his face. Lord Leo, have you perhaps been deceived? She just said herself that she was completely unaware of the dress code. Are you suggesting that Lady Sophia was lying? Whispers rose from the surroundings. As expected of such a wicked woman, to take advantage of Lord Leo's lack of guard around women. Leo looked, his expression stern and authoritative. Sophia would never deceive anyone. If she did, it must be because she is in danger. For instance, someone might be threatening her. Leo's gaze was sharp as a blade, piercing Tristan's face. Tristan's face turned pale instantly. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead. Leo faced the dais and bowed. Your Majesty, please allow me to fulfill my promise here. The queen nodded slightly, her expression calm and inscrutable. Permission granted. Proceed. Sophia watched Leo. Protecting me offers him no benefit. Why is he going this far? I can trust him. This intuition had never been stronger. Leo opened the jewelry box in his hand. A green gemstone brooch shimmered inside. He held it out to Sophia. Sophia took the box, her cheeks flushing. Thank you. She pinned the brooch to her collar. Leo's lips curled into a satisfied smile. Just as I thought. It suits you well. Sophia took Leo's arm and stepped into the center of the dance floor. Mariana watched from afar, her eyes filled with relief. Tristan gritted his teeth, veins bulging on his forehead.
He glared intently at Leo's back.
That guy. Catherine pressed down on his arm and lowered her voice. Enough, there are eyes everywhere. Let's leave for now. Lucas strode in, hands on his hips. His expression was flippant and confident. I'm completely smitten with you. Leo spoke flatly. Lucas, you're on duty. Get back to your post. Lucas said, my post is right here. Seeing that poor lady, I simply couldn't rest easy. Thanks to you. Her smile has finally returned. Leo, that's also thanks to you. Sharing that information was a huge help. Lucas crossed his arms. Do you like her? Leo remained silent. A flicker of emotion crossed his eyes, only to be replaced by coldness again. If you're just teasing me, I'm leaving. Lucas let out a soft huff.
He watched as Leo walked away.
Leo, he pointed toward the center of the dance floor. The first dance seems to have ended. Aren't you going to dance? Leo walked toward Sophia, leading her to the center of the hall. Lucas stood alone, watching the figures on the dance floor. This is the last time I'm stepping aside. Leo placed his hand on Sophia's waist, slowly twirling in the middle of the dance floor. Sophia looked up at him. By the way, this brooch doesn't belong to my family, does it? Leo tightened his hold. It's a gift for you. Sophia's pupils trembled slightly. Leo lowered his eyelids, his expression stern and focused. Yes, I saw it at that shop I introduced you to. I thought it would suit you perfectly. Although it was an impulsive purchase, I'm glad it came in handy. Sophia said, It suits me? Leo nodded slightly. Adam was born in May, and you were born in April. Correct. Sophia held her breath. That's the birthstone. This is the best gift ever. Thank you. The noise of the banquet gradually faded away. The carriage pulled up to the brightly lit mansion. Sophia's foot slipped. She lost her balance. She let out a small gasp. Leo quickly reached out. He caught her firmly by the back and pulled her into his arms. Sophia spoke up. Lord Leo, you really looked after me a lot tonight. His gaze was deep and focused. Please lean on me any time. I am no hero. Sophia turned around. Her hem swept across the floor in a graceful arc.
It's all right.
Thank you so much for today. Good night. He sat in his room, letting his thoughts swirl in his head. I must be careful. I cannot misjudge the distance between us. How did things end up like this? Adam stood between the two of them, holding both Leo and Sophia's hands, skipping along with light, cheerful steps. Adam lay in bed. His eyes were tightly closed. He was fast asleep. Sophia sat by the bed, holding the letter between her fingertips. Her expression was solemn. The ball invitation. It was a fake after all. She sat opposite Leo. Her hands were folded in her lap. I see. A servant in the house swapped it. Leo gave a slight nod. His expression was cold and grave. Yes, using his mindreading ability, Adam spotted someone suspicious. He told me as soon as I returned. But you had already left by then. Sophia straightened her back. There was a hint of relief in her eyes. Fortunately, it didn't lead to a greater disaster. Then, who is the culprit? Leo looked into her eyes. His voice was low and firm. We have narrowed down the targets. Based on Adam's testimony, that person is likely. Sophia reached out and stroked Adam's hair. Only the family and Leo know the secret of his mindreading. If it's ever exposed, he will be in danger. We must find undeniable evidence. Adam let out a faint murmur. His eyelids fluttered. He slowly opened his eyes. Good morning, Mommy. He sat at the dining table, staring at the red tomatoes on his plate. His brow furrowed slightly. Sophia looked over at him. Don't you like tomatoes? They're delicious. Adam's pupils wavered. I hate tomatoes. But Mommy thinks they're delicious. He immediately put on a smile, holding up a tomato with his fork. He held it to Sophia's lips. Then Mother can have my share too. Sophia opened her mouth and took the food Adam fed her, looking a bit helpless. The maid held the teapot. She turned to Sophia. There seems to be a harvest festival in town today. Sophia wiped her lips. Is that so? Adam tilted his head. Harvest, Sophia explained. It's a festival to give thanks for the crops and pray for a successful year ahead. Adam propped himself up on his chair. His eyes sparkled. I want to go. Sophia lowered her gaze. If we go out, we'll need a guard. But it's hard to ask right now. Should I ask Leo? Adam looked up, staring into Sophia's eyes. Did you have a fight with Lord Leo? Sophia waved her hands frantically. Of course not. He must be busy with other work. Today, let's ask another big brother to accompany us. The door was pushed open. Leo stepped into the hall. His cloak billowed with his movement. Adam jumped off his chair and rushed toward the door. Lord Leo, he cheered, looking up. I'm going to the harvest festival with Mommy. Leo stopped in his tracks. The harvest festival? I'll go with you. Sophia spun around suddenly. That's not necessary. I was already planning to ask the Medina family guards. Leo tilted his head slightly. His gaze was cold. Is that guard stronger than me? Sophia was speechless. Her gaze wavered. Well, Leo opened his palm. Then I am the best choice. Sophia's eyes widened. But it's just a festival. Besides, don't you hate crowded places? Leo's expression remained calm. Precisely because it's crowded. You need me even more. Adam will be safer with someone he knows, right? Conflict showed on Sophia's face. I can't keep taking Clarice's place. A hint of confusion flashed in Leo's eyes. Why is she suddenly rejecting me? Did I do something to upset her? Adam looked up, with a brilliant smile. He reached out both hands, grabbing onto Leo and Sophia's hands. Let's all go together. The streets were draped with colorful banners. Vendors were shouting from behind their stalls. Crowds flowed slowly along the cobblestone streets. The three of them walked through the bustling market. Sophia turned her head, a hint of helplessness in her expression. How did it come to this? I intended to keep my distance, but Adam looked at the steaming hot soup. His eyes sparkled. It smells so good, Sophia leaned down. It's very hot, so be sure to hold it carefully. Adam sat down obediently. Sophia lifted the wooden spoon, blowing on it gently, then held it to Adam's mouth. Adam's cheeks puffed out. He gave a satisfied smile. It's delicious, Sophia's eyes crinkled. There's plenty more. Adam looked up at Leo. Mommy, aren't you going to feed Lord Leo too? Sophia froze in place. Her pupils constricted suddenly. Leo whipped his head around. His expression showed a hint of shock. He waved his hands in protest. A flush crept onto his cheeks. No need, Adam lowered his gaze, looking dejected. Is it because of me? Is it because of me that Mommy didn't want to bring Lord Leo out? Sophia spoke hurriedly. It's absolutely not like that. Adam lifted his flushed face. His eyes were Then can you feed him? Sophia closed her eyes. She took a deep breath. Lord Leo. Leo's eyes were full of astonishment. Sophia raised the wooden spoon. Her fingertips trembled slightly. The spoon was filled with food. She held it to Leo's lips. Leo's eyes darted around in a panic, but Sophia kept the spoon raised. Her expression was stiff. Adam hid behind him, poking his head out, with an expectant grin. Leo slowly leaned down.
He took the spoon into his mouth.
Adam watched him. He swallowed the food. Is it good? Leo raised a hand to his lips. It's good, Adam clapped happily. Yay, you're friends now. Sophia watched Adam's joyful figure. A smile played on her lips. He looked so happy now. He turned his head toward Leo. Their eyes met. A crisp ringing sound came from the distance. Adam snapped his head around, looking toward the bustling square. What's that? Sophia followed his gaze. It's a puppet show. A simple stage had been set up in the center of the square. A musician struck a red drum. Two performers pulled the strings, making the puppets dance among a miniature forest. Adam looked up, his eyes filled with anticipation. Can I go watch? Sophia leaned down. You can, but promise you'll stay quiet until the end. Adam nodded vigorously. Okay, he sat on a bench, with a maid sitting beside him. Leo and Sophia stood further back, watching the stage. Sophia thought to herself, the performance looks like it will last a while. Leo turned to her. Lady Sophia, may I fulfill my promise to young Master Adam now, and go pick out some flowers? Sophia clasped her hands, her expression softening. We still have time. Let's do that then. The two of them entered a flower shop. The shelves were filled with various potted plants. Leo said, This is the shop I mentioned before. Sophia looked around. You know quite a lot about flowers, Lord Leo. Leo lowered his eyes, his fingertips brushing against a petal. It's because my sister loves them. Sophia tilted her head slightly. Are you and your sister close? Leo's expression was plain. She is always dragging me into various things. Sophia recalled. If I remember correctly, his mother has already passed away. She asked softly, Lord Leo, did your father raise you and your sister alone? He must be a remarkable man. A flicker of gloom crossed Leo's eyes. Sophia spoke hesitantly. Did something happen at home? Leo's voice was low. There are some disagreements between my father and me.
He once left the marriage engagement for me to handle.
Yet he moved forward with it without consulting me. What's worse, he even changed the marriage partner. Sophia asked softly, It's Lady Clarice, isn't it? Leo replied, yes. Sophia lowered her eyes, lost in thought. No wonder Hayes like this. Having an engagement ceremony arranged without your knowledge. It's certainly unfair. She looked up at Leo's lonely back. Her heart felt a slight stir. Leo continued, even when I demanded an explanation. He never gave a convincing reason. In the end, he just told me to stay silent and accept it. Sophia's eyes were filled with confusion. Do you know why he would do such a thing? Leo said. I suspect there's more to it behind the scenes. I'm sorry, this is a depressing topic. Sophia shook her head gently. Not at all. But even if there is a hidden reason, I think your father must have had his own struggles. Leo's expression stiffened.
His struggles?
Sophia's fingertips stroked a purple petal. This is just my guess. For example, perhaps it was to protect you.
Leo froze in place.
To protect me? Sophia suddenly moved closer. You have to stay friends, okay? She blinked. Otherwise, Adam will be sad. Leo lowered his eyes.
His fingertips against his chin.
All right, I understand. Sophia suddenly noticed something. Lord Leo, how about this pot? Leo looked at the cluster of flowers she pointed to. I think it's wonderful. The flower language is... Sophia said, I'll take this one. Leo walked through the busy street holding Adam's hand. Sophia followed closely behind. Adam, don't let go of my hand. You might get lost. Adam looked up with a bright smile. Okay, Sophia closed her eyes, feeling the breeze. This is a great chance to refresh my mood. A passerby came toward them and bumped hard into Sophia's shoulder. Sorry, a brown cloth bag fell to the ground with a dull thud. The passerby ran off into the distance without looking back. Sophia stood there, stunned, looking at the bag on the ground. Wait, she let go of Adam's hand and ran after the person. Adam stopped abruptly, sensing something was wrong. What's wrong, Adam? Adam stood rooted to the spot, his pupils trembling. Sophia's figure had vanished. Alice looked around the noisy street. Lady Sophia. Where are you? Adam gripped Leo's hand tightly, his voice shaking. Mom is gone. Sophia quickly caught up to the passerby. Please, wait. You dropped something. The passerby took the cloth bag, nervously clutching the brim of his